which greeted Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. While the Chief Minister refused to go on the dais to share it with the union ministers, on the other hand, you had the Prime Minister who spoke about his duty, which he says must come first when it comes to serving the nation, even at a time of great personal loss. Listen in.
आज मुझे आप सबके बीच रूबरू आना था, लेकिन मेरे निजी कारणों के कारण मैं आप सबके बीच नहीं आ पाया हूं। इसके लिए मैं आपकी बंगाल की क्षमा चाहता हूं।
Meanwhile, the Samajwadi Party has also questioned Prime Minister's faith in Hinduism. In fact, one of the leaders has alleged that he did not follow Hindu rituals and even attended a government event during this mourning period. In fact, it's quite shocking. IP Singh had said Prime Minister Modi did not follow Hindu rituals, inaugurated the government event even during this mourning period. Is Prime Minister Modi a real Hindu or not? He tweeted that along with a picture of Akhilesh Yadav and the 13-day mourning period that he had underwent at the time of the demise of his father, Mulayam Singh Yadav. Now, it's not just the SP or the TMC, even the AIUDF jumped in. They allege there should not be any pretensions during such grieving situations. Listen in.
इसमें आज का दिन कम से कम मोदी को लेके मैं कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करना चाहता हूं। तो आज माँ चला गया, जन्मदिन वाला माँ चला गया, तो उसी का टाइम में मैं चाहता हूं कि उसको फैमिली के साथ में थोड़ा टाइम दे, भाई बहन भांजा जितना है उसको थोड़ा टाइम दे। इसको लेके फिर पॉलिटिसाइज और दिखावा नहीं होना चाहिए।
Well, quite understandably, now the BJP has launched a scathing attack on the opposition for politicizing the death of the Prime Minister's mother. Listen in.
माता प्रथम गुरु होती हैं और जो उनका संस्कार होता है वो जीवन में कभी कोई बच्चा भूल नहीं सकता है। वही माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी किए हैं। अंतिम विदा देने के बाद अपना कर्तव्य पालन किया, तो उन्होंने जो किया है मैं उनको प्रणाम करता हूं और उस माता जी को प्रणाम करता हूं जिन्होंने माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी जैसे पुत्र को जन्म दिया। भगवान उन्हें अपने चरणों में स्थान दें।
ममता बनर्जी स्टेज पे नहीं चली।
शुभेंदु के लिए नहीं, नंदीग्राम के लिए, एक नए 5-6 के लिए, जो नंदीग्राम उनकी कंपार्टमेंटल सीएम बनाई। कलाकुंडा में इस तरीके से हरकत किया, आज भी किया। घटिया चीफ मिनिस्टर है।
Like what the public says, you cannot do anything about it because sloganing, I don't know what kind of slogans did she mean, because taking the names of Jai Shri Ram and saying Bharat Mata ki Jai. Bharat Mata ki Jai was for Modi ji and Jai Shri Ram was for those who likes it and for whom to whom it sounds pleasant. It should sound pleasant to every Hindu, I suppose. So, but for any reason she didn't get up on the stage, and she does that every time. You've seen that in the past too.
So was it wrong for the Prime Minister to turn his pain, his personal pain, into purpose? Well, let's throw this open. Joining us today here on our show, we have GVL Narasimha Rao, an MP with the BJP. Dr. Anand Ranganathan is joining us, an author. Riju Datta, the spokesperson of the TMC. Mohammad Zishan is joining us, a political analyst, as well as Kamru Zaman Chaudhary of the Congress Party. My first question is going to go across to Riju Datta. Riju Datta, now we are looking at the visuals here. On one hand, you have the Prime Minister. He lit his mother's funeral pyre, but then he said, I am the Pradhan Sevak. I need to do my duty by the nation. On the other hand, you have the Chief Minister, who the BJP has said has put her pride over the people of West Bengal and their welfare by getting miffed at this government event. Is that correct? Is that right? Is there no dignity in death left anymore?
First, I want to start off by saying that the entire Trinamool Congress family stands beside our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi and his family, and we express our deepest condolences in this hour of grief. And we hail the Prime Minister for showing his dedication towards public service. Number one. Number two, what happened today was extremely shameful. Jai Shri Ram was at one point of time a greeting in this country, which is now used by BJP as a lynching war cry to commit atrocities against minorities in this country. And it is a pre-planned conspiracy to humiliate the only female chief minister in the country, because it has happened before as well. And the problem here is this. When the BJP cadres did this, the Honorable Railway Minister, the other Member of Parliament, they all apologized to the Chief Minister. So obviously they also realized that this shouldn't have been done in a program for the welfare of the people and in a government program. It's not a political stage. We can do our political battle 365 days, not on this day and not on this solemn occasion.
But do you think the Chief Minister did her
Kartavya? The second question you asked about
was the Chief Minister on the Kartavya path towards the welfare of the people by getting miffed like this, refusing to go on the dais, refusing to follow protocol and follow the people's priority? Riju Datta?
She absolutely did what she was supposed to do. She never mentioned, she was on her Kartavya path. She never mentioned a word about this. She expressed her solidarity with the Prime Minister in this hour of grief, and she did not go on stage is for a very different reason.
Why?
She did not go on stage because nobody in this world wants to sit next to a dustbin that emits foul smell. The loser of the opposition, who's a dustbin in our state, was on the stage where the Honorable, the President of BJP Bengal was sitting downstairs. The Dilip Ghosh, the National Vice President of BJP, was not allowed on stage. So obviously she chose not to sit next to a dustbin emitting foul smell. Simple.
Political optics, at least you have very candidly agreed to that. GVL, here's the problem, and I think Riju Datta, before he admitted that this was political optics, that the Chief Minister decided to flout all protocol as well as people's welfare, but he did make a point. Was there any need for Jai Shri Ram chants at a government affair?
Good evening to you and all the guests on the show. First of all, let me also express my deepest condolences on the demise of the mother of Honorable Prime Minister. The whole country joins me in this. On a day like this, or on any other day, I'm appalled that people find it difficult to accept that Jai Shri Ram is a way of life in India. What is Jai Shri Ram should only be those chants should only be made inside temple, not on the street, not on a public function. What is this nonsense? Does anybody need? And then to say that Jai Shri Ram is used for lynching people, I take strong objection to it. You don't, in the name of Islam, terrorists, has Mamata Banerjee ever stated what other religion people chant while doing terrorist activities? That you take strong objection to, but why should anybody have a problem if a crowd shouts Jai Shri Ram? The more you object to it, the more will be the echo of Jai Shri Ram in Bengal or all over the country. Please do not try to oppress Hindus of this country, Indians of this country, because Jai Shri Ram is not just a Bhagwan for Hindus. Other religions also take part in many of these festivities. So by trying to really politicize Jai Shri Ram, by trying to say that the Jai Shri Ram chant can only be made in certain places, by showing this kind of antipathy towards Jai Shri Ram.
A secular event.
No, what is secular about it? You can't, you see, this is absolutely appalling. This is absolutely shocking. Secularism is for the government. People who are on the crowd, they are not going to be bound by your government rules. They are a public. This is a way of life. Chanting a Jai Shri Ram is a way of life for people. Just because she wants to appease another religion, you cannot impose dictatorship on people. Jai Shri Ram is not a banned word. Mind you, we will never allow you to do it.
And here's why it's important that we discuss this today, because we are talking about Kartavya Yogi. And Dr. Ranganathan, I want you to come in here. Today, when you have someone saying that this is my Kartavya, as a son, I will fulfill it, but half an hour later, I am ready to fulfill my duty as the Pradhan Sevak as well. But unfortunately, you have this vicious politics over it. There is a phrase called dignity in death. Is this dignity in death? And if it isn't, who's the one who's denied it? Dr. Ranganathan.
Good evening, Mevna, all my fellow panelists. On this very sad evening, let me also, my previous two fellow panelists have expressed my sincere condolences to the Prime Minister. It's really a moment of grief, and I hope he has enough strength to recover from this. The loss of a mother is really immeasurable. I have two things to say on this very solemn occasion. Number one, I also would like to appreciate the West Bengal Chief Minister for her very well chosen, very sincere condolences and words that she spoke for the Prime Minister. And I think because she did so, and because by the time that program actually happened, the news was already there that the Prime Minister's mother had passed away, I think propriety and decency and manners demanded that the people who were shouting those slogans, Jai Shri Ram, clearly to mock the West Bengal Chief Minister, because she earlier had shown her irritation whenever the slogan was chanted, Jai Shri Ram. In fact, it happened in the past, and she had, in fact, even once while she was going on a car journey, she even got down from a car and publicly castigated people, villagers, who had shouted their slogan Jai Shri Ram at her cavalcade. So, and the whole thing started, people started to shout it purposely just to mock and ridicule her. For those people, I don't know who they were, maybe BJP supporters or just simple audience, I think it was in really poor taste. It was not befitting the solemn occasion as well, especially when you realize that the Chief Minister had such wonderful words of solace to speak for the Chief Minister, for the Prime Minister. So it was really very off-putting for people to mock her like that. Number two, as for the other people, you showed a few tweets who are mocking the Prime Minister for having, not given into the Hindu rituals and immediately started her work. I mean, his work, it's really ridiculous. And some Samajwadi Party person has said it doesn't even befit a reply, to be honest. It is so off-putting. But the third thing I would like to say is that as for my good friend Riju Da is concerned, yes, the fact of the matter is that today I agree with him. It was really bad and completely mannerless the way the slogan Jai Shri Ram was purposely used to taunt the Chief Minister. But the fact also remains that Didi has been on an appeasement gravy train for close to a decade. She knows that it pays rich dividends. I mean, I can, from opposing CAA to appointing a Muslim on Tarkeshwar Temple Board, providing midday meal dining hall for only those schools having 70% of minority students, curtailing the time duration traditionally permitted for Durga idol immersion to make way for Muharram procession, granting 2.6 crores of taxpayers' money to Furfura Sharif, promising to give land to imams for construction of houses, paying more than 30,000 imams, 2,500 per month, and over 15,000 muezzins, 1,500, till this blatant communal move was struck down by the High Court. So she has been on an appeasement drive. So, tali do haath se nahi bachti hai. At some point, TMC and Didi herself would have to address this, that there is angst amongst the people at this blatant appeasement, but today was certainly not the day.
Let me take that across to Riju Datta. I know you want to come in, Riju. Now, let's not forget, and this is something that even Anand Ranganathan has reminded our viewers, January 23rd in Kolkata, Mamata Banerjee declined to speak at the Netaji event after there were Jai Shri Ram chants. Then 6th of May 2019 at Bishnupur, Jai Shri Ram chants were chanted. Mamata Banerjee says that this is BJP slogan and it is forcing all the people to chant. And as is the case with today, as the BJP says it wasn't our cadres, but then the TMC says they are being forced to do it. And of course, 4th of May 2019, West Midnapur, as Dr. Ranganathan also reminded, and Mamata Banerjee literally got off her cavalcade, got off her car and chastised the people who were chanting Jai Shri Ram. Riju Datta, there is a time and place for appeasement, if you can call it that. There's another time and place for politics. Was today the occasion? Was today the right occasion to flout protocol and people's welfare?
let me be very blunt on this, and I say this on record. We do not have a problem with Prabhu Ram because we proudly say Jai Siya Ram. Jai Shri Ram, who has brought Prabhu Ram into politics? It has BJP who has done that. They have made this into a political slogan. That's why we say it's a BJP slogan.
But
it is good
Datta, don't
that
you
every
think
time
by
they see
giving the entire chant of Jai Shri Ram, you are doing a great disservice to all the Hindus saying it's a BJP chant. It's not a BJP chant. It's not a BJP chant, Riju Datta. No one thinks it is. And definitely Hindus don't say it's a BJP chant.
Can I please finish? Listen, 49% of Hindus voted for BJP, so there is 51% of Hindus that have not voted for BJP in this country. So Jai Shri Ram has been turned into a political slogan, and please let me have the courtesy of finishing my statement. I am glad that every time BJP sees Didi, they say Jai Shri Ram. So probably in Didi they see Prabhu Ram. So it is good. Let them say that. But we will always say Jai Siya Ram. We have no issues with Prabhu Ram. It is BJP who using the name of Lord Ram into their dirty politics. That is what they have done today, what they have done in Victoria Memorial, certainly is a mannerless, uncouth, uncultured attitude of the BJP to use this to humiliate a chief minister in a government event. This is not a political rally, it's a government event. देखो माहौल क्या है, देखो नजारा क्या है, देखो उस दिन का ओकेशन क्या है. आपको हमेशा ही अपना बदतमीजी करना है. This is not part of politics. It is way below that.
Okay, GVL, I have to come to you. This is beyond politics on a somber occasion, even as today, where everyone in the BJP has also come out and said that it is a somber moment, it is a day of great loss and mourning. Perhaps chants like this, which are linked to apparently your party, should have been kept at bay.
No, Meghna, what was the provocation? Why does she have? Why does Riju Datta thinks it's only a BJP slogan? You are actually insulting the Hindus of this country by saying this is a political slogan. When we do most of even governmental work, campaigns, or even political campaigns, it's a tradition to say Hara Hara Mahadev in Varanasi. So will everybody else say Har Har Mahadev is also a BJP chant?
It's not a government event, GVL Narasimha Rao.
No, whether it's a government, you see,
can I come 10
it's
seconds,
in the
10 seconds,
Prabhu,
10 seconds of question to the MP.
Lord Ram,
Riju Datta, let him finish his point.
You see, whether it should have been done on a prolonged basis in today's event is a matter of debate. Okay, but certainly to have aversion towards the chants of Lord Ram, Mamata Banerjee is only showing her aversion towards Hinduism. This is not acceptable. She is showing the aversion towards Hinduism, also possibly as an antic, as an appeasement tactic.
So you are saying
this
that
aversion is also staged, perhaps.
Riju Datta, I'll literally give you 10 seconds.
This is a staged aversion.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, 10 seconds. My only question to the Honorable MP, Sir, my only question to the Honorable MP is, I know he has a job to protect, save himself from. If everything was right and hunky-dory in what BJP did today, why did the Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav apologize to Mamata Banerjee? Why did SS Ahluwalia say that they could have chanted Bharat Mata Ki Jai? And why did Subhash Sarkar, your Honorable MP, took the microphone and said,
trying to get people not to chant.
Not fit.
Today, you can't hide behind this defense, GVL.
No, Meghna, you see, a railway minister, he was there because Honorable Prime Minister was there. It was his job to ensure Honorable Chief Minister was on the dais. She, as the Chief Minister of the state, it's a railway program.
He asked the protesters to stop chanting.
But he does. I completely disagree with this assessment that he apologized for the chants. No. He only wanted to bring her on the dais because as the first citizen of West Bengal, it was his duty to get her on the dais.
He wouldn't have asked the cadres to stop chanting, which he did. All of that is also on camera. But let me go across to Kamru Zaman, because it's not just the TMC. There are, Kamru Zaman Chaudhary, and I must come to you. At a time when the person has lit his mother's fire, he returns immediately to serve his nation. Your own ally, Samajwadi Party's leader, IP Singh came out and said Prime Minister Modi did not follow Hindu rituals, unlike, of course, he compared him to Akhilesh Yadav, inaugurated a government event during this period of mourning. Is Prime Minister Modi a real Hindu? Is this the right occasion to speak about who's the asli Hindu here? And if yes, will the Congress stand by its alliance partner? And if it doesn't, will it condemn it?
Meghna, when was the last alliance with Samajwadi Party we had? Was it in the elections, assembly elections? It was not. So I am not a spokesperson here to defend Samajwadi Party statement out here. I will speak out the mind that my party stands for. First and foremost, having from Bengal, I have observed Mamata Banerjee long enough to make a statement is like that. Mamata Banerjee has got an uncanny knack of creating a non-issue into an issue. Not only this, you see the Netaji event at the Victoria Memorial, where Prime Minister Modi was also there in the chair. That time also some 400 of BJP supporters, they raised this Jai Shri Ram slogan. Again, Mamata Banerjee refused to speak on that event. Today, the same incident happened. You know one simple, I am telling it very rudely. Meghna, do you bark at the street dogs when they are barking at you, or you just walk by?
You apparently
when you bark,
get
there
off
will
the
be
car
more
and you
barking from the
chastise
street
them. That's
dogs. So
also
it
an
doesn't
option.
matter that if you want.
Very
No,
objectionable.
that's what I'm coming. I'm telling, I'm not supporting Mamata Banerjee out here. But then the
Very, very
incident of
objectionable.
heckling the state's chief
Kamru
minister
Zaman, if
today
you're trying
by the
to
BJP
say,
hooligans
first of all,
today
the question was
needs
on
to
the
be taken
Samajwadi
very
Party.
seriously.
2017, you did have an alliance with them. Today, if you are uncomfortable answering questions on Samajwadi Party, you'd rather speak about something else. But these kind of analogies,
very bad.
these kind of analogies are unacceptable.
Why are you?
If you cannot speak without denigrating
I
others,
stand by that
if not a
analogy.
community by
I stand
denigrating
by that
others,
analogy,
we
madam. I am
request
not
you
an
to not make
apologetic guy
analogies
out
like
here
on this
to
channel.
defend what I. No, you bring out a statement. You bring out a statement. These are all. You see how it is planned, Meghna. Meghna, today how many people were invited for the railway program? How many people out of that? How many BJP of the goons from the BJP? They got the passes out there. A government event. Why did all those BJP goons have to come into the station?
Who told you they are BJP goons?
Who gave
What
them the
basis are you
passes?
making these
He has
allegations?
answerable.
Dr.
For hacking the
Ranganathan,
state
it
chief
seems like a
minister
bit to
in
try
front
and
of the
derail this entire
in front
debate.
of the Prime Minister.
Yes.
We will
And
debate on
not just that, it is also insult to our audience members
No,
when you make analogies such as this. Dr. Ranganathan.
Sir, of course
Yes,
it is
Kamruji,
insulting
please
to
allow
the
me.
state.
Dr.
When you
Ranganathan.
have got the state
Kamru Zaman Chaudhary, please have the patience to hear other people also.
Then it has
Kamruji, I did not interrupt you.
That has to be taken care of. That
Kamruji,
needs to
please.
be.
A lot of things
On
need to
this
be
day,
taken
let us-
care of,
this is a
including
very
the
solemn
language that we
By
use
the
on a
BJP
debate.
goons. They need
This
to
is
be
a very
taken
Dr.
care of.
solemn
Ranganathan,
occasion.
go
Please
ahead.
let us. Meghna, how can I? Yes. It's a very, as I said, today even having a debate is questionable because it's such a solemn occasion, Meghna. Permit me to say that. And number one, even Rijuda would take severe objection to what Kamruji just said. You know, for someone, yes, I also said it was in very poor taste
Yes.
to mock the Chief Minister by shouting these slogans. I said it myself. It defied decency, it showed lack of manners, and it was in very poor taste. But to
Anuji,
say
we
that,
know your lineage,
make an
but
analogy.
I'm not apologetic out here. No. I compare.
Please, Kamruji, let us not. Please don't interrupt.
Kamru
Meghna, I
Zaman
cannot.
Chaudhary, I would request you, because I don't like to put the fader down.
And I
don't like to do that, but
and I have repeated
this
it.
is
I know
not
Anuji,
going
your
to be a
lineage-
free-rolling
your lineage-
debate where you will heckle others. Please give each other at least that much of space to express their views. We can come back to you if you have a counter to make. But heckling, let's just keep that at bay.
Garland or you?
Dr. Ranganathan, please finish your point.
Yes, and as far as Mr. Kamru talking about my leanings and all, I lean towards science. I don't know who he leans towards and genuflects from. But coming back to this topic, it is absolutely objectionable for the Congress spokesperson to use the analogy of barking dogs. Even Rijuda, who is very stern anti-BJP, I could see he was immediately raised his hands, and he would possibly have 10 seconds to say to this severely objectionable comment. And to add to that, to say that those who were attending that function from the BJP side were gundas. Is this the kind of language you want to use of all days today? I'm sorry, Mr. Kamru, you have to apologize, and it won't be me asking for your apology. I'm sure it would be Rijuda asking. Rijuda?
Riju Datta, you want to come in? Would you accept
Yes,
the kind of
I
comments
just
being
want to
made by
say
Mr. Chaudhary?
that yes. No, I will be very clear. We have a political and ideological difference with the BJP. Me and GVL Saab has been on hundreds of debates and we have been at each other's throats. But calling other party cadres, whichever political party cadres they are, calling them dogs is highly objectionable and a very, very cheap below the belt comment. This is very sad. This is very sad and very unbecoming of Congress. This is not good. You have political party cadres, we have political party cadres, even BJP has cadres. You fight them politically, you be at each other's throat, but calling party cadres, you call them uncultured, couth, whatever you call them, but you cannot call them dogs. This is way below, this is very cheap, very objectionable.
Kamru Zaman Chaudhary, there you have it. You've heard people from the left, from the right, from the TMC, those who are backing science. Will you at least now apologize for the statement that you have made, Kamru Zaman?
What for? What for? What for? What for is the apology?
For the language that you have used.
You call a spade, that cannot be an apologetic, madam. I stand by whatever I said. You heckle the state chief minister, and the state chief minister makes an event which is non-issue.
If you say it's wrong, you can condemn it.
Get a major polarizing issue in the state.
And that is the problem.
No, it's
Kamru
the
Zaman,
question is
even now, you are indulging in politics to the level that at a time like this we are having this debate.
500 goons
I don't understand why we need to have a debate like this on a day when you are going out
debate once
and
again,
calling
just
the cadres
because
of the BJP,
we have got a
alleged cadres
panchayat
of the
elections in the
BJP.
state. And you want a polarized electorate on this grounds. Jai Shri Ram. We have fought 2019 election on the same ground.
Anyone who chants Jai Shri Ram, is that person a dog, as per you? And is that a line your party accepts?
Why should he? Why should I say that?
You said that.
Why should I say that? Why should I say that?
You said
Lots
that.
of thousands, crores of people say Jai Shri Ram is not objectionable.
And
but
you call them BJP
guys,
goons.
While lynching a clerk, you
call them
make the
dogs.
statement of Jai Shri Ram. While the state chief minister is on stage, you call her Jai Shri Ram.
This is
What have you
unacceptable. I
reduced
think
the
this
name of
debate
Ram
is-
to a war cry, a war mongering? You have spread hate to
And here's the
Absolutely
the name
shocking.
of Ram.
In fact, let
You
me
have
go across
spread
to
hate.
Mohammed
You have killed
Zishan.
people in the name of Ram in the
If on
country.
a day
This is the thing
a
that
man
has
has
to be stopped.
said that I
This
will
is
do
the
my
scam.
duty
It
by
has
my
to be
family,
a
then I
spade
will
a
do
spade.
my duty
We cannot
by my
just-
nation. We cannot even have a civilized debate because politics seems to be hijacking even that. Mohammed Zishan.
Thank you, Ms. Megha, for allowing me to speak, because it has been 23 minutes. I didn't get a chance to speak, and I request my co-panelists not to interfere before I finish my point.
They will not.
First of all, a very good evening to the co-panelists as well as the viewers of Times Now. And secondly, I pay my deepest condolences to the Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the great loss which he has faced. May the Almighty bless him with enough strength to endure the loss. First of all, I would like to say that this is Jai Shri Ram slogan is not the property of BJP. Every Hindu, every Indian, they pay respect and tribute towards Prabhu Ramji, and one party, a significant party, cannot use the slogan to taunt or to mock in politics. That is very much unaccepted, and it's really very unfortunate to see that it has been second time in Bengal after the birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose on 23rd of January. This is the second time when the members of BJP have stood up to taunt the Chief Minister of West Bengal by using a sacred slogan which is used to pay tribute and pay respect to Prabhu Ramji. Why will they use this slogan in this way? I am really very much shocked and very much surprised to see the Honorable MP of BJP who is speaking on this panel. He is supporting it, he is promoting it. I am really very much shocked to see this, because I believe this slogan is for love, this slogan is for peace, this slogan is to pay respect towards Ram. No one can use this slogan to do mockery in politics. No one can use this slogan to do mob lynching. No one can use this slogan to taunt any elected chief minister. And second point which I would like to come on, yes, Narendra Modi on this day, he has attended virtually the inauguration of the opening ceremony. It was really very nice of him, and the people of Samajwadi Party who are taunting on him, I can say that I don't want to comment on this point, but my point is that we are living in a country, we believe in a constitution, we can't allow any religious slogan in any government event because it raises questions on the integrity of our nation. It raises questions on the unity in diversity which our constitution speaks of. We have many religions in this country, we have many castes in this country. Why are we promoting a single religious slogan, and that also in a way which is disturbing others, which is mocking others, which is making fun of others? I don't think the Hindus of our country, I don't think the respected citizens of our country will support the utilization of sacred slogan Jai Shri Ram in this way. This is my point,
Narasimha Rao, will
and
you
I hope
accept
everyone
the
will
limited point
support
at
this
least
point.
that
Those who
today when
respect the
chants were raised
constitution,
of
those who
Jai
respect
Shri
Prabhu
Ram,
Ramji.
it was not out of devotion but perhaps to heckle the Chief Minister and elected Chief Minister?
I expect everyone to hear me with the same attention that I heard others. Jai Shri Ram was not a slogan shouted from the dais. It was not a slogan shouted by the ministers. It was not a hymn that was played from the official podium. But the audience can always, they have Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Also, you will take objection because you want to use every opportunity to denigrate India, to denigrate Hinduism. Why should Mamata Banerjee, why should Didi take objection to it? I don't know. Why should she think it's even mocking? She could have joined once Jai Shri Ram. If she had said once Jai Shri Ram, I think others would have felt happy and maybe they would have stopped. You are allowing people. In fact, today was certainly not an occasion where the slogan should have gone on for long, because everyone should have understood the solemnity of the occasion. I agree with that assessment. But at the same time, why should there be any intolerance towards the chant of Jai Shri Ram? If she shows such intolerance, there will be others who will be tempted to shout only to show her intolerance towards it.
Towards Jai Shri Ram.
If she also respects Hinduism, like I expect her to respect Hinduism, please do not think it's a BJP slogan. It's a way of.
Mamata Banerjee has been miffed is the point that the BJP is making.
Yeah, I would like to answer. Please give me 10 seconds.
Yes, go ahead.
Please give me 10 seconds. No one is showing any intolerance, any bitterness towards the slogan Jai Shri Ram. People are having problem if someone, an indisciplined individual who is using this sacred slogan to do mockery in politics, to taunt people representative, we are having problem in this because it means to disrespect Prabhu Ramji. Those who are using this slogan in this way, they are disrespect Prabhu Ramji. And I'm really shocked to see the honorable member of parliament is promoting it and supporting it. This is really shocking.
No, the slogan shouting,
you must
please
say,
do not misunderstand your bogey of secularism. Secularism does not mean...
Dr. Ranganathan, here's the problem that we seem to be facing.
How can you support
Dr. Ranganathan, it's not just about Jai Shri Ram, the bogey being raised today. There were those who have also raised the bogey of who's the Asli Hindu. These are the words, these are the taunts which are coming in today, on a day when a man has lit fire to his mother's fire. And it's important for us to bring the discussion back on track that we are talking about. Everyone's got a Kartavya. Whose Kartavya it is to at least keep politics at bay. Where do you draw that line?
No, absolutely. Couple of points. Number one, I think, we need to really expose this perfidious propaganda that Jai Shri Ram is now a war slogan and used for lynchings and all. First of all, data shows that there have been as many lynchings by Muslim mobs as by Hindu mobs, especially on Dalits and in both Hindus and Dalits. Number two, Swati Goel, a journalist from Swarajya, has been collating the data that shows that on more than half a dozen occasions, Jai Shri Ram has been used wrongly, in fact by Muslims, just to create a fake narrative of Jai Shri Ram being used during lynchings. Many instances of Muslims forcing, when a Muslim was being lynched, to shout Jai Shri Ram, just to, have a fake narrative. So please let us not today really perfidious narrative of Jai Shri Ram being used as a war cry. Number two, you talked about some people harking on is Modi a real Hindu because he's not following the rituals? Well, to quote Swami Dayanand Saraswati, who said, "Atma se adhik chetna, तेज से अधिक तप और धर्म से अधिक कर्म से हिंदू जाना जाता है." So who are we to decide who is a real Hindu and who isn't? When Hinduism itself says that, you are possibly more Hindu through your karma than your dharma, through your consciousness than through your spiritual atma. So I think it is totally unacceptable, and it is bordering on hatred for the Prime Minister to say that just because hours after his most tragic event that has happened in his life, perhaps the most tragic event, he's back to work. People are denigrating him and humiliating him. That's just completely, I don't know, it doesn't even befit reply, Meghna. I'm sorry to say that.
Is that true? Kamru Zaman, I'll come to you, Riju Datta. Kamru Zaman, is it the visceral hatred towards the Prime Minister that even today, you being one of his staunchest critics, cannot get yourself to say, yes, Kartavya comes first and not Parivar?
No, absolutely. The context of entire propaganda today that happened, I call it as a propaganda. When on a day, particularly when our Prime Minister has lost his mother, that day, the same day, the Prime Minister is coming up to inaugurate some projects. Very fine that he is coming out to inaugurate some projects for the development of the people of the state.
Yes.
It's good. But then the question arises, can this program have been postponed? Was it such an important program like launching a space rocket, which has already, the timer has already started? It's a Vande Bharat Express.
It's not just any project, it's the Vande Bharat Expressway which he had inaugurated.
By 8 hours. Yeah, that's what I'm coming. Vande Bharat Express from Howrah to NJP.
Mr. Kamru, why are you dictating how should
we have
a person who is grieving behave?
From Shalda to,
who are
from
you to
Howrah
decide how should Mr. Modi behave in moments of grief?
So it is nothing but a propaganda, because you have inaugurated hundreds of Vande Bharat in India, but you don't say whether a poor man will be travelling by this Vande Bharat, or is it just
a function of the waiting list of the Congress party, as the BJP has at times said, it's difficult for them to put the Kartavya towards nation, to put India above the Parivar. You perhaps can't understand why it's important when nation comes first and not the Parivar. Those distinctions at times have been a bit blurred. Perhaps it's something which is only true to your country, your party. Riju Datta, you wanted to come in?
I just wanted to come in on that Asli Hindu remark, and I believe the people who are on this panel who are Hindus by birth, we are Hindu by birth, like Dr. Ranganathan or GVL Saab or me, and you probably as well. So in that way, I just want to say that rather than quoting scriptures like Dr. Ranganathan, I am a staunch Hindu, and I have learnt my religion from my parents and grandparents. So what I have learnt of my religion is what I will practice. In this, I will only say this, whether it is a Samajwadi, whether it is Congress, or whether it is a BJP, yes, Dayanand Saraswati, I only want to say this, that the religion I have learned from my parents and grandparents is what I follow as my Hinduism. Nobody, whether it is Samajwadi, whether it is Congress, or whether it is BJP, RS or VHP, will give me a certificate of Hinduism. Nobody has that patency, nobody has the right to do that. I will follow my religion, what I have been taught by my grandparents and my parents, and I am a proud and a staunch Hindu. But this BJP's narrative of using religion for their political gain is the lowest of the low politics.
Is that what the BJP does, GVL?
No, I think this is what the BJP is not a Hindu-only party. You would try to project that because you want to monopolize the minority vote bank. The reality is it's only because of the BJP's entry into politics India is experiencing real secularism today. Because until BJP came on the horizon, you sold pseudo secularism. You projected vote bank politics, appeasement politics as a face of secularism.
How many MPs
Prime Minister Manmohan Singh went to the extent of saying minorities have a first right on the nation's resources. That's a blatant appeasement. You have you have created in some states, the Congress has created reservations on the basis of religion, which is a complete antithesis of constitution. So you have indulged in appeasement politics. We follow politics of no appeasement of none and equality for all. Sabka saath, sabka vikas.
Should we even relegate ourselves to talk about politics? Should we at least not applaud? I'll ask you a direct question. Should we at least not applaud a man who has said, I've done my duty by my family, but it's time for me to now put my nation first? Do you see anything wrong with it, Zishan?
No, I have made it clear, Ms. Megha, that a person who is giving preference to his duty first and after the rituals, I don't have any problem in that.
Okay.
It is totally dependent on that person's preferences. And if he thinks that he should do the opening of Vande Bharat, which is a public welfare project, before doing the rituals or the rites, it is his choice. It is nothing to applaud or it is nothing to criticize also in this point. It is his choice. He has done whatever he has felt to.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, gentlemen, we've run out of time. Asli Hindu Kaun, those are certificates which need not be given out to any. But the fact that someone's used his pain and he's tried to channel it towards a purpose, perhaps that is something all of us have agreed to appreciate, except for perhaps Mr. Chaudhary. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. Well, of course, today was a day of great loss. It was deep and personal, especially for the Prime Minister. He shared a very close bond, as we all know, with his mother, Hiraben, and the pain and the agony of losing her could be seen on his face as he bid the final goodbye to her. Here's how the funeral procession of the Prime Minister's mother was held, a very low-key affair with only the family members being present there.
In Ma, I have always felt that trinity, which contains the journey of an ascetic, the symbol of a selfless Karmayogi, and a life committed to values.
Inside the hearse, the Prime Minister sat forlornly looking at his mother. The last rites were carried out at the Mukti Dham crematorium in Gandhinagar, where the Prime Minister lit the funeral pyre. This telling visual encapsulates the pain, agony and deep loss of a son's final goodbye. Rest in peace, Hiraben Modi. Well, with that, we are going to move on to the second big debate on India up front. Well, with the nation and the world all set to ring in 2023, the fringe groups are all out to set the morality code of their own accord. Now, the Muslim body Raza Academy has asked Muslim youth to avoid attending the 31st December parties, calling such celebrations haram. Making the appeal, the Raza Academy's president Syed Noori has said that it is shameful activities which are being witnessed in such celebrations, and hence Muslim youth should not become part of it. Now, this comes, remember, just a week after the Bajrang Dal too had submitted a memorandum to the Mangaluru police asking them to ban the entry of Muslim in New Year parties and to have a complete ban on the celebrations itself. In fact, this letter, which was submitted to the Mangaluru Commissioner of Police, stated that Muslim men misuse pubs and bars for love jihad and should therefore be kept away from the 31st of December parties.
कि साल के आखिरी रात जिसे लोग 31st नाइट कहते हैं, इस रात में कौन सी ऐसी बेहयाई है जो इस रात को अंजाम नहीं दी जाती है। ऐसी खुलेआम फहश हरकतें की जाती है जिसे देखकर शैतान भी शर्मा जाए। ऐसे नाजायज़ और हराम काम में हर मजहब और हर जात और हर उम्र के लोग शामिल होते हैं। अब भी वक्त है कि हम अपने बच्चों की निगरानी करें, इनको बेहयाई से रोकें, ऐसी महफिलों के नुकसानात से इनको आशना करें। अरकान रज़ा एकेडमी आपसे अपील करते हैं कि 31st नाइट को आप अज़ान दें, आयत करीमा और दरूद शरीफ का ख़त्म रखें, मसाजिद, मज़ारात और दरगाहों के ट्रस्टियान देर रात तक इनको खुला रखें।
Now, many of the clerics too have denounced this call, this fatwa against New Year parties by Raza Academy Diktat. In fact, they've said that it runs against the teachings of the faith as well.
जिन लोगों ने ये ऐसी अपील की है, उन्हें ये सोचना चाहिए कि अल्लाह पाक जो हम पूरी कायनात का मालिक है, वो कहता है कि या अय्युहन नास इन्ना खलकनाकुम मिन ज़करिय्युम व उन्सा, ऐ लोगों हमने तुम्हें एक ही मर्द व औरत से पैदा किया है, तुम्हारे दूध व खून के रिश्ते हैं। और हज़रत ईसा अलैहिस्सलाम हो या हज़रत मूसा हो या हज़रत मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम हो, इन सब का अदब व एहतराम, और चाहे हमारे हिंदुस्तान में श्री कृष्ण और श्री राम हो, इन सब का एहतराम हमारे ऊपर लाजिम है। जैसे हिंदू नववर्ष और मुस्लिम नववर्ष यानी इस्लामिक कैलेंडर के हिसाब से इस्लामिक नववर्ष, इसी तरह से ईसवी कैलेंडर से नववर्ष जो है वो पहली जनवरी से होता है। मैं ये समझता हूँ ऐसा कहना ये गलत है।
Meanwhile, politics also has broken out over this call that New Year celebrations are haram. The BJP sees it as an attempt to vitiate the atmosphere, but surprisingly, there were some who lent their support to the Muslim body, with the National Conference echoing Raza Academy's call that haram activities are performed during New Year celebrations.
मतलब मनाओ नहीं मनाओ, आपके मन की इच्छा हो सकती है, मनाना नहीं मनाना, लेकिन द्वेष पैदा करना, वातावरण निर्मित करना, ऐसा कुछ नेचर और स्वभाव सा इनका बन गया है। और मुझे लगता है वर्तमान भारत के अंदर किसी भी धर्म के प्रति द्वेष पैदा करना आज समाज उसको स्वीकार नहीं करता है।
तो मैं उनको कहूँगा कि ये जो साल है ये तो अंग्रेज़ों का ही साल है, हिंदुस्तान का तो इसमें कोई ताल्लुक नहीं है। लेकिन अब चूँकि जनवरी फरवरी से शुरू होता है, एंड दिसंबर में होता है, तो हमें तो मालूम नहीं है कि वो जो देसी महीने सावन जेठ हाड़ बैसाख कहाँ है तो कहाँ ख़त्म हो गया। अब मौजूदा जनरेशन को ये समझना चाहिए कि हमारा जो कल्चर है वो क्या है। इस्लाम के साथ कोई चीज़ जुड़ी नहीं है, इस्लाम के साथ इसका कोई ताल्लुक वास्ता नहीं है। अब अगर कोई इसमें गलत इसका इस्तेमाल करता है तो वो उसको आइडेंटिफाई करना चाहिए, उसको जनरलाइज नहीं करना चाहिए कि भाई नया साल कोई सेलिब्रेट कर रहा है उसका गलत इस्तेमाल कर रहा है, उसको मौज मस्ती का सामान तैयार करता है तो वो गलत है।
So let me go across. Joining us today, our panelist, Dr. Anand Ranganathan continues to be here with us, and author also Majid Hydari, a political analyst. Majid Hydari, my first question is to you. A fatwa in the name of religion against celebrating and having parties on New Year's. Is that even acceptable in a democracy?
Well, Meghna Saiba, kullu nafsin zaikatul maut. With these verses of Holy Quran, which mean that every soul shall taste death, I extend my heartfelt condolences to Honorable Prime Minister on the demise of his mother. See, when you ask about this question, I feel and I believe that the Raza Academy people have behaved much better than how the BJP leadership, in particular some lawmakers, have reacted to Besharam Rang and Pathan. The Raza Academy people have only come up with an advisory, whereas BJP people have said that we should boycott Pathan, we should not watch this movie. They have sought the censorship of the song and some screens from there, and even the censor board is moving on the same line. So at least they are behaving much in line with their exercise of powers as vested in them by Article 19, which is freedom of expression.
You don't see anything wrong in giving out calls saying that this is haram. Telling people, telling young minds that this is haram.
See, they have only come up with an opinion much in exercise of the right to freedom of expression. Article 19, this is their fundamental right. You can't stop them. But at least they are not stopping anybody. They are not saying ban or boycott the newer parties. That is my point. Much like the way BJP leaders in particular have done with regard to Pathan showing some Besharam. Sorry, I mean, in reaction to Besharam.
You're doing apples to oranges comparison, but Majid Hydari, even if I do accept that.
Who is the better Indian? For me,
even the Bajrang Dal will say all we have said is suggest that you shouldn't do it. How is then the Raza Academy any different from the Bajrang Dal, which you don't accept, but you will endorse Raza Academy?
I am judging them who is the better Indian. I say Raza Academy people are better Indians as compared to those BJP leaders who came up with ban and boycott demand for Pathan or Deepika Padukone song for that matter. They are not into any kind of violence. They have behaved very responsibly, much like civilized citizens should behave in a country like India.
I fail to understand your contention. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, maybe you can explain this to us. There is faith on one hand, then you have freedom. In a democracy, where is that line?
That line doesn't exist anymore, because the moment we start talking about religion, that line disappears, because let's be very honest about it. Yet again, I'm afraid, Meghna, we are snaring the fundamentalists and sparing the fundamentals. Allah has defined just who is a good Muslim. 33:36, 3:132, 8:2, 49:15. And that Allah has said, my every word is inviolable. 33:62, 6:115, 18:27, 6:34. So look, a practicing Muslim who believes in the Sharia and every single word that there is in the Holy Quran is a good Muslim. While a Muslim who drinks, fornicates, indulges in idle talk or music, supports Muslim women who reject the burqa, draws a portrait of whosoever he wishes to, marries a non-Muslim, is homosexual, gives equal share of inheritance to females, and is fine.
Anand bhai, where does Hinduism stop you from watching Pathan?
Is a bad Muslim.
No, where does Hinduism stop you from watching Pathan?
Majid Hydari, we just come to you. I'll give you time. Hear him out.
Now you see Majid Hydari, who is against homosexuality, who doesn't want to give equal share of inheritance to females, is rattled. So rattled that he decided to interrupt me. But the point here is, he loves the fundamentals, and the fundamentals are very clear. Does Majid Hydari drink? No. Does he consume pork? No. Is he against homosexuality? Yes. Does he want to give equal share of inheritance to females? No. So he's a good Muslim. Why is he irritating at me? I am praising him. Majid bhai, आपको तो praise कर रहा हूं मैं.
Majid Hydari, does it really come down to that? Fundamentals versus fundamentalism. Which one are you backing?
No, Meghna Sahib, I am proud of Islamic fundamentals and I feel proud to be a Muslim for that matter. But my very humble question is, Anand bhai, does Hinduism anyway stop you from watching Besharam?
Now you will get context. Now you will get interpretation.
Anand bhai, does Hinduism allow you to try to defame or malign a woman like Deepika Padukone only because she has come with a really beautiful song?
इसमें Hinduism और वो कहाँ से आ गया?
Majid Hydari, आपको context चाहिए? मैं थोड़ा सा context दे देती हूँ. Let me give a little bit of, permit me to give a little bit of context. There were fatwas against Nusrat Jahan for wearing sindoor. There were fatwas against Sania Mirza for wearing a short skirt when she was playing. Several such instances. All of that are there. You know them, I know them. Will you accept that also and say, ये तो बस opinion था?
No, Meghna Sahiba, Fatwa is right to freedom of expression. Anybody can exercise, the cleric can exercise that by virtue of the right to freedom of expression as guaranteed by Article 19.
In a democracy, what's the legal standing of a fatwa? Majid Hydari.
Meghna, please ask
what's
him.
What's the legal standing of a fatwa in a democracy?
Please ask him.
That is the beauty of our constitution.
Do you condemn homosexuality?
If you believe the constitution, you believe by the law book. You live by the laws of India. And not by the fatwa culture.
Sahiba, fatwa is not a legal binding. It's not a binding. But when you take a boycott call or a ban call,
when you go ahead and pull a fatwa and announce a fatwa against women for exercising their right to choice, Majid Hydari, you are today saying that that's That's the choice of the people who make
See,
it.
I told you, Fatwa is not a legal binding and it does not incite violence, whereas boycott call for Pathan or Besharam Ram or the ban call incites violence.
Dr.
That is my simple point.
Apparently,
The
Modi
Indian
right to
people are
choose
the
है.
better
To
Indians.
choose
For me, they are the better
to issue
Indians.
a fatwa against a person. That's also
No,
a
I am
right apparently.
supporting the better Indians. That is my humble
can
And
I
that
please-
makes for a better Indian. Hanan Ranganathan. That makes for a better Indian.
When he says he supports better Indian, I trust him. I trust Majid bhai. That is why I ask him, is the definition of better Indian someone who condemns homosexuality? Yes or no?
See, the point
Quick
is
question.
simple.
Yes or no?
Anybody
Answer.
Quickly, can we have a
abides
yes or no
by the
answer?
Constitution is a better Indian. And
Answer
so Raza
now.
Academy people are better
answer
Indians.
yes or no.
They
Would
have
you
not
answer
sought
that?
boycott of Pathan.
Answer.
Majid, I agree. Would you answer that?
Someone who condemns homosexuality. Is a better Indian someone who condemns homosexuality? Answer now.
See, that is
Answer.
again my right to freedom of expression. I
Now,
do
I'm
not
right to
It's
freedom of
decriminalized. You say you have faith in the Constitution.
It is so easy to
It is
expose,
not
Majid
against
bhai.
the law, and yet Majid Haidari perhaps says that this is my freedom of expression. It is also then the freedom of expression to go around and saying you must have a Sanskari New Year and define what Sanskari is to them. We are running out of time. Thank you so much, Anand Ranganathan, for joining us, as well as Majid Haidari for that entertaining conversation we've had. With that, we're going to be wrapping up. Don't go anywhere. Kritzween joins you on the other side.
Let's get it started, yeah, you know it's game time. Ain't no excuses tolerated why you can't grind. It's like an on the job, you know that team.
हेलो एवरीवन, ये है बजाज की नई पल्सर P150. इन केस यू वंडरिंग, 150 ऑलरेडी मौजूद है, तो इस P वर्जन को लाने का कारण क्या है, मतलब क्या है? सो कारण बहुत सारे हैं, डिजाइन को लेकर, फीचर्स को लेकर और कुछ हद तक परफॉर्मेंस को लेकर भी इस P वर्जन में बदलाव देखने को मिलते हैं. तो क्या है वो सारे बदलाव इस नई पल्सर P150 में, उन सभी के बारे में मैं आपसे बात करने वाला हूं इस रिव्यू के अंदर. और रिव्यू के एंड में बात करेंगे 3 धांसू और 3 नॉट धांसू एलिमेंट्स मुझे क्या लगते हैं इस बजाज पल्सर P150 के बारे में. अब डिजाइन की बात करें तो यहाँ पर जो नयापन देखने को मिल रहा है, स्पेशली ओवरऑल 150 जो पल्सर है उसके मुकाबले इन टर्म्स ऑफ डिजाइन पूरी आपको ये P150 देखने को मिलेगी, लेकिन आपको ओवरऑल जो एसेंस है डिजाइन का वो इसमें N160 वाला देखने को मिलने वाला है. फ्रंट हालांकि अलग है यहाँ पे, लेकिन अब इसमें P150 में प्रोजेक्टर हेडलैम्प्स दिए गए हैं एंड इसमें DRLs भी यहाँ पर इसमें देखने को मिलते हैं. अग्रेसिव, स्पोर्टी एंड शार्प एलिमेंट्स इसके डिजाइन में यहाँ पर देखने को मिल रहे हैं. एंड साइड प्रोफाइल जो ओवरऑल है वो आपको N160 वाला ही झलक थ्रू आउट इसके साइड प्रोफाइल में देखने को मिलने वाला है. टैंक से लेकर इसके रियर पैनल्स यहाँ तक जो जाते हैं तो ओवरऑल वो लुक कुछ वैसा ही है, लेकिन अग्रेसिव और शार्प काफी ये इन टर्म्स ऑफ डिजाइन पहले के मुकाबले लग रही है. देन पल्सर की बड़ी सी ब्रांडिंग यहाँ दी गई है एंड यहाँ काउल अलग से देखने को मिल रहा है टैंक पे. एंड देयर इज बेली पैन जो यहाँ पे नीचे दिया गया है, जो बॉडी कलर के हिसाब से दिया गया है. एंड P150 की ब्रांडिंग यहाँ पर इसमें देखने को मिल रही है. सीट जो है इसमें स्प्लिट सीट्स आती हैं. इसमें 2 वेरिएंट हैं, SD और TD. एंड जो इसका स्टार्टिंग वेरिएंट है SD उसमें सिंगल सीट है. इसमें जो है जो टॉप वेरिएंट है इसका उसमें TD सीट दी गई है. दोनों वेरिएंट में जो अंतर हैं कुछ मैं बताता हूँ आपको कौन कौन से हैं. एक तो सीट का हो गया, दूसरा ये जो वर्जन है इसमें क्लिप ऑन हैंडल बार्स आते हैं थोड़ा स्पोर्टी स्टांस के लिए, लेकिन जो SD वर्जन है उसमें जो है सिंगल फ्रेम दिया गया है हैंडल बार का, तो वो थोड़ा अपराइट पोजीशनिंग के साथ उसका स्टांस रखा गया है. एंड उसके अलावा जो ब्रेक्स हैं, डिस्क ब्रेक्स हैं, इसमें जो है ड्यूअल डिस्क ब्रेक मिलती हैं एंड दूसरे वेरिएंट में सिंगल डिस्क ब्रेक दी गई है. सिंगल चैनल ABS दोनों ही वेरिएंट में मिलता है, उसमें कोई कटौती नहीं करी गई है. एंड ये कुछ चेंजेस यहाँ पर इन टर्म्स ऑफ बोथ वेरिएंट्स इन दोनों बाइक P150 के दोनों वर्जन्स में देखने को मिलते हैं. इसके अलावा रियर में भी टेल लाइट जो है LED इस्तेमाल करी गई है, हालांकि इंडिकेटर्स आगे पीछे हेलोजन बल्ब का इस्तेमाल यहाँ पर देखने को मिल रहा है। सो स्टांस स्पोर्टी अग्रेसिव पहले के मुकाबले, पल्सर 150 के मुकाबले यहाँ पर देखने में जरूर लग रहा है। एंड यस, ओवरऑल डिजाइन भी पहले से बेहतर जरूर इसका देखने में लग रहा है। इसके अलावा यहाँ पर एक USB चार्जिंग पॉइंट इसमें दिया गया है। हैंडल बार में लेफ्ट साइड में यहाँ पे हाई बीम लो बीम पास स्विच, इंडिकेटर एंड हॉर्न स्विच, एंड राइट साइड में इंजन किल स्विच, इग्निशन स्विच यहाँ पर देखने को मिल रहा है। एंड इस P150 में जो एग्जॉस्ट टेल है वो अंडर
Prime Minister Modi flagged off Vande Bharat Express connecting Howrah to New Jalpaiguri in West Bengal via video conferencing. Cricketer Rishabh Pant's car met with a horrific accident earlier today after his car crashed into a divider. He is getting treated at Max Hospital in Dehradun. After 18 children died in Uzbekistan, all manufacturing activities of Marion Biotech in Noida have been stopped in view of reports of contamination in cough syrup. Congress takes a jibe at Yogi Sarkar. Day after road caved in Lucknow, Congress Karnataka chief mocks UP model on Twitter. National Commission for Women issued advisory to all states to direct coaching institutions to ensure strict implementation of Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act. Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar meets Dalai Lama. Chief Minister offers prayers at the Mahabodhi temple. After a Chinese woman was held under suspicion of threat towards Dalai Lama, her visa has been cancelled and she is being deported to Delhi. The number of cyber attacks targeting the government sector has increased by 95% in the second half of 2022 as compared to the same period in 2021. A massive fire reported in South Kashmir's Anantnag. At least 13 homes and 10 shops stood destroyed. Authorities have begun to clear snow on Srinagar-Leh highway under Project Beacon of Border Roads Organization to make way for traffic movement.
इन केस आप मिलेनियन वाली जनरेशन से हैं तो आपने शायद वो गाना सुना होगा, देखा जो तुझे यार दिल में बजी गिटार। सो कुछ ऐसे अगर आप मूड में हैं तो यहाँ पे ये गिटार की स्ट्रिंग्स टाइप दी गई हैं, एग्जैक्टली स्ट्रिंग्स नहीं है बट ऐसे कुछ मूड में है तो आप इनका इस्तेमाल उस समय जरूर कर सकते हैं। अब आप समझ गए होंगे कि गाड़ी कौन सी है, हाल ही में इसका लॉन्च हुआ था। ये है BYD की Atto 3 और क्या परफॉर्मेंस, क्या रेंज, क्या डिजाइन, क्या फीचर्स BYD अपने इस इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल में दे रहा है, उन सभी के बारे में मैं आपसे बात करने वाला हूं इस वीडियो में। और वीडियो के अंत में हमेशा की तरह बात करेंगे 3 धांसू और 3 नॉट धांसू एलिमेंट्स मुझे क्या लगे इस BYD Atto 3 के बारे में। तो चलिए शुरुआत करते हैं। तो शुरुआत कर लेते हैं इस Atto 3 के डिजाइन वाले एस्पेक्ट से। तो फ्रंट में BYD कहना है ये गाड़ी का डिजाइन जो है ओवरऑल ड्रैगन इंस्पायर्ड है, चाइनीज ब्रांड है, तो कुछ वैसा ही एसेंस BYD कह रही है हमने इस गाड़ी के डिजाइन और स्टाइलिंग में देने की कोशिश करी है। हालांकि ड्रैगन इंस्पायर्ड तो मुझे फ्रंट ज्यादा नहीं लग रहा है, बट फिर भी यहाँ पे सेंटर में बड़ा सा BYD का लोगो है, क्रोम का एलिमेंट दिया गया है थ्रू आउट जो जाता है इसके फ्रंट हेडलाइट के ऊपर से सेंटर तक। एंड हेडलाइट जो है क्रिस्टल LED कॉम्बिनेशन लाइट्स यहाँ पर इसमें देखने को मिल रही है। एंड DRL देख रहे हैं, देखने में खूबसूरत ही काफी लग रहा है। इसका फ्रंट जो लाइट का सेक्शन है काफी स्लीक कॉम्पैक्ट इसका हेडलाइट का डिजाइन लग रहा है। एंड जो टर्न इंडिकेटर्स हैं वो भी इसके DRL में ही इंटीग्रेटेड हैं, तो यहाँ पे जब इसको टर्न इंडिकेटर ऑन होंगे तो ये DRL टर्न इंडिकेटर का काम भी करेगा। इसके अलावा इलेक्ट्रिक गाड़ी है तो फ्रंट में कुछ यहाँ पे इवेंट वगैरह देखने को नहीं मिलेगा, ऑब्वियस है। एंड इसमें जो है ADAS लेवल 2 के फीचर्स देख सकते हैं आप, यहाँ सेंसर्स वगैरह, रेडार वगैरह यहाँ पे इसमें देखने को मिल रहा है। एंड 360 डिग्री कैमरा यहाँ पर इस BYD की Atto 3 में इधर दिया गया है। साइड प्रोफाइल पे आए तो यहाँ पर जो टायर्स इसमें दिए गए हैं वो हैं 18 इंच के 215 सेक्शन के टायर्स दिए गए हैं। एंड यहाँ पे जो डिजाइन है एलॉयस का, ये भी थोड़ा स्पोर्टी स्टाइलिश देखने में जरूर लग रहा है। BYD का हब यहाँ पे सेंटर में दिया गया है व्हील में, एंड ओवरऑल जो यहाँ पे डिजाइन है, यहाँ पे क्लैडिंग थ्रू आउट जाती हुई आपको पीछे तक इसमें देखने को मिलेगी। BYD डिजाइन की बैजिंग यहाँ दी गई है क्रोम में। यहाँ पे जो है इसका ये चार्जिंग सॉकेट है, एंड इसका जो चार्जिंग सॉकेट है वो आप एक्सटर्नल पावर कहीं आपको देनी है, छोटा मोटा कुछ आपको कॉफी मशीन टाइप, छोटा मोटा फ्रिज आपको यहाँ पे इससे एक्टिवेट करना है, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी देनी है वहां पे, तो उसका इस्तेमाल इस तरह से भी करा जा सकता है।
Good evening and a very warm welcome. Thanks for tuning in to the Newshour at 9 p.m. this evening. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a mother is a carrier of hope, kindness, love and compassion. She is the protector and confidant of her children, no matter how old they grow up to be. Losing a mother is just like losing your own shadow. Today, the world and India united to give strength and condolences to Prime Minister Narendra Modi as he lost his mother, Hiraben Modi. In an emotional post, he in fact described his mother as the symbol of a selfless Karmayogi. With folded hands, the Prime Minister paid his respects to his mother at her Gandhi Nagar residence. As Hiraba's final journey began, the Prime Minister turned pallbearer and carried her mortal remains on his shoulders. After setting fire to his mother's funeral pyre and paying his final respects, Prime Minister Modi was back to his Kartavya of Jan Kalyan, putting people over the personal loss. The Prime Minister, who was scheduled to launch the developmental projects, various of them in West Bengal, joined the events through video conferencing. He apologized for not being able to make a physical appearance. Here's what he said.
आज मुझे आप सबके बीच रूबरू आना था, लेकिन मेरे निजी कारणों के कारण मैं आप सबके बीच नहीं आ पाया हूं। इसके लिए मैं आपकी, बंगाल की क्षमा चाहता हूं।
While BJP hailed Modi's Jan Kalyan Pratigya, it rained fire on Mamata Banerjee for putting her fragile ego, that's what the BJP called it, over public welfare. This because the West Bengal Chief Minister purportedly lost her cool after Jai Shri Ram slogans were raised upon her arrival at the event, where Prime Minister Modi virtually flagged off the nation's 7th Vande Bharat Express. A fuming Bengal Chief Minister even refused to share the stage with union ministers present at the event. Listen in to the chanting in the sequence. Well, this wasn't it. It was Akhilesh Yadav's Neta who crossed the line ultimately. IP Singh, a former UP minister, questioning Prime Minister Modi's Hinduness. He alleged that the Prime Minister ignored Hindu sanskar, Hindu rituals, by not waiting until the Tervi for a public event. On the other hand, AIUDF MLA also called Prime Minister Modi's dedication a pretense.
इसमें आज का दिन कम से कम मोदी को लेकर मैं कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करना चाहता हूं। तो आज माँ चला गया, जन्मदिन वाला माँ चला गया, तो उसी का टाइम में मैं चाहता हूं कि उसको फैमिली के साथ में थोड़ा टाइम दे, भाई बहन भांजा जितना है उसको थोड़ा टाइम दे। इसको लेके फिर पॉलिटिसाइज और दिखावा नहीं होना चाहिए।
The BJP slammed the insensitivity shown by the rivals. Here's what the BJP had to say.
माता प्रथम गुरु होती हैं और जो उनका संस्कार होता है वो जीवन में कभी कोई बच्चा भूल नहीं सकता है। वही माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी किए हैं। अंतिम विदा देने के बाद अपना कर्तव्य पालन किया, तो उन्होंने जो किया है मैं उनको प्रणाम करता हूं और उस माता जी को प्रणाम करता हूं जिन्होंने माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी जैसे पुत्र को जन्म दिया। भगवान उन्हें अपने चरणों में स्थान दें।
ममता बनर्जी स्टेज पे नहीं चढ़ी
शुभेंदु के लिए, शुभेंदु के लिए नहीं, नंदीग्राम के लिए, एक नए 5-6 के लिए। जो नंदीग्राम उनकी कंपार्टमेंटल सीएम बनाई, कलाकुंडा में इस तरीके से हरकत किया, आज भी किया। घटिया चीफ मिनिस्टर है।
It's like what the public says. You cannot do anything about it because sloganing, I don't know what kind of slogans did she mean, because taking the names of Jai Shri Ram and saying Bharat Mata ki Jai. Bharat Mata ki Jai was for Modi ji and Jai Shri Ram was for those who likes it and for whom to whom it sounds pleasant. It should sound pleasant to every Hindu, I suppose. So, but for any reason, she didn't get up on the stage, and she does that every time. You've seen that in the past too.
This brings me to my legitimate question. Is criticism over compassion for rivals? So let's quickly open this up. We have Aprajita Sarangi, MP and national spokesperson of the BJP with us. Also with us is editor ANI Smita Prakash. Also senior editor Swarajya Tushar Gupta, along with the Congress leader Lokesh Jindal, political analyst Nilanjan Das, and Professor Manojit Mandal, spokesperson of the TMC. Professor Mandal, I want to begin by asking you this. Now, given that Mamata Banerjee was seen next to the dais, she was not seen sitting on the dais where several union ministers were already present. All right, I believe Professor Manojit Mandal is not through still. Nilanjan Das, if I could come to you on this and really try and understand what one should make of the demeanor of the West Bengal Chief Minister, and not sitting on the dais but next to the dais, because Jai Shri Ram slogans were raised at her upon her arrival.
I must salute my Chief Minister for standing up to bullies. This is something that the BJP does every time. Every time. They had done it during Netaji's birth anniversary celebration in 2021. So this is what the BJP loves to do. They would bring in their depraved karyakartas, and their only job is to shout slogans. All these slogans, Jai Shri Ram, and Jai Shri Ram should be chanted. It's not a, war cry. The BJP has turned it into a war cry. But you have to understand that the Chief Minister, she stood there. She sat with the audience, with the MPs and MLAs, and then thereafter she addressed. And she has expressed her condolences to the Honorable Prime Minister. She has also lauded him for his sense of duty. And the BJP must apologize. The BJP must apologize to the Prime Minister also. This
was not a political function, so why? The 7th Vande Bharat Express, the first in the state of West Bengal, the Chief Minister should have been sitting on the dais. So why make this so much about Jai Shri Ram and actually talk about it as a war cry? I want to go across to Smita Prakash.
Why were these BJP people invited?
Who's perceived Jai Shri Ram, Smita Prakash, as a war cry? Why is it being seen as provocation today?
Of course it was a provocation. What was it then?
Okay, hold on. Smita Prakash.
Sometimes I think it's a fixed match, Sometimes I think it's a fixed match, this provoking of Mamata Banerjee by raising, whether you want to call it a slogan, whether you want to call it a chant, whether you want to call it a catchphrase, but every time the BJP says Jai Shri Ram, it is something that the BJP state unit knows that if they provoke her, that it's something that will provoke the Chief Minister, and she doesn't disappoint them. She reacts to it every single time. She can, or maybe she should just ignore it, or she should just fold her hands every time they say, I would do that if I was Chief Minister. Thankfully I'm not, but if I was Chief Minister, every time somebody says Jai Shri Ram, I would just join my hands, and that's the end of that controversy. But then Mamata Banerjee, that's her thing. She does her public outbursts. She's been doing that even though she's been Chief Minister for 11 years. She still gets riled up with these small things. One would think that, she would have become even-tempered by now and she would just take it in her stride. But that's her. That's her character. She did that recently at a trauma unit. She did that again because some sweaters were not there. Today she had some very warm words. I must say this, that she chose her words very carefully. She spoke very nicely when she spoke about the Prime Minister's mother. She was sensitive with the choice of words. She exhibited warmth towards him. She even exhibited warmth towards Amit Shah recently, a couple of weeks back when he was there. So, but the state unit of the BJP is a different ballgame, a completely different kettle of fish. That is part of state politics, which I think Mamata Banerjee has very little patience for, and the state unit also doesn't understand, this camaraderie which Modi and Mamata have. Both of them come from very difficult circumstances. For both of them to have reached where they have is through their dint of hard work. So they both appreciate each other for that. The fact that a mother played a very important role in Mamta's career in politics when she grew up. Her mother was a very influential figure in her life, and so was it with Mr. Modi. So both of them understand the role that mother played in their respective lives, and they respect the other person for that. So that is something of a personal relationship that the two of them have, which I think state politics is a different ballgame altogether. So you'll see that even with Mr. Modi, when he talks about Mulayam Singh ji, you will always find a deep sense of respect that he had. So today, what Akhilesh's man Friday has said about Akhilesh and comparing him, very cheap comment, I must say, by the Samajwadi Party person. But you will not find Mr. Modi ever saying something cheap about Mulayam Singh ji. He understands where Mulayam Singh's politics comes from.
Okay, well, nobody's quite standing up to what Mr. I.P. Singh had said. I'll go across to Lokesh Jindal also and really try and understand if he has a comment to make on that. But with regards to what Smita Prakash is saying, Professor Mandal, it's a valid point, fair enough, and it should be perceived at that. Why not just retort by folding your hands and just smiling it off? Why give in to the provocation? If at all, the TMC cadre, the TMC ministers, the Chief Minister herself feels that this is provocation on part of the BJP workers on ground, why give in to that provocation?
On behalf of the Congress, request condolence to the Minister and his our absolute room at this point. Understand, Mamta has already extended her courtesy to the Prime Minister. Coming back to the issue at hand, I would partly agree with the statement of the earlier speaker, though I rarely agree with her. I agree that both Mamta and Mr. Modi had, in terms of their political rise, which is obviously meteoric rise or fairy tale-like rise, in terms of building a political career, which obviously the state BJP may not be able to understand. I believe the state BJP led by Shubhendu Adhikari is just a bunch of rogues and nothing else. If you talk about political sloganeering, let me tell you, no other government event in this country, I repeat, no other government event you have this kind of sloganeering. Wherever Mamta will attend this program called by the Prime Minister or by the central government, this kind of sloganeering is deliberately done. If it's a slogan, if it's a chant, if it's a political chant, it must not be raised. And if we are wrong, then the Minister, Railway Minister, the Minister of States for Education, who are, with their folded hands, they are appealing to the crowd, they are also wrong. BJP state justifying, state BJP justifying this sloganeering by saying that this is nothing but spontaneous reaction on the part of the crowd when they are witnessing Modi speaking. Then in every other occasion this kind of sloganeering must be happening. I repeat, this state BJP led by Shubhendu Adhikari is a bunch of uncourteous rogues. They don't deserve any kind of civic behavior. But we, All India Trinamool Congress, will never repeat this kind of thing. We could have done the same thing.
Jai Shri Ram. Why does Mamta Banerjee feel the need to, label those sloganeering Jai Shri Ram as arrogant radicals or uneducated for that matter? Why is this being seen as provocation to begin with?
You did not actually listen to me. In that case, if the sloganeering was right, then why did the Railway Minister was appealing to the crowd? Why did the Minister of States were appealing to the crowd in Bengali, saying that this is a government event? I repeat, Subhash Sarkar was appealing to the crowd, saying this is a government event, you cannot have this kind of sloganeering. And once again I repeat, perhaps he did not understand. In no other central government event this kind of sloganeering is done. You can chant Mr. Jai, Mr. Modi or Bande Mataram or Bharat Mata Ki Jai, but this particular sloganeering is done only when Mamta is in the dais. I may like it, I may not like it. What they are basically doing, they are actually insulting Lord Rama as well. I mean, when you insult the only woman chief minister in this country by doing what you are doing, you are actually insulting Lord Rama as well. You are not greeting her. There are ways of greeting her. If you really wish to break with Joy Shri Ram
So no problems with Vande Mataram or Bharat Mata Ki Jai, and the BJP workers should feel free to resort to those kind of slogans, but not Jai Shri Ram. All right, Aparajita Sarangi, how would you respond to this? Why at a government function were these kind of slogans hurled at Mamata Banerjee?
It's extremely unfortunate that in India saying Jai Shri Ram is equated with an attempt to bully Mamata Banerjee. Nothing can be far from the truth and nothing can be more ridiculous than this. Why should anybody get provoked if somebody chants Jai Shri Ram slogans? This is the question today. And of course, I would like to take you back to history. This is not the first time that Mamata Banerjee has behaved in such a peculiar manner. We know that she is an ill-tempered woman. Please allow me to say this. I'm sorry if it hurts the sentiments of TMC spokespersons, but this is a fact. Now the issue is, on 125th birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose at Victoria Memorial, Honorable Prime Minister was present, and the same thing happened. Some chanting of Jai Shri Ram slogans, and she refused to deliver speeches. Number one. Number two, 2019, I can recall during Lok Sabha election campaign in West Medinipur district, her carcade was going, and suddenly somebody says Jai Shri Ram, and she comes out and she admonishes the person. And third, I take you to 24 Pargana district, Bhattipada. During election campaign against the carcade had to stop, and she came down and she asked the police to take charge of the person who had shouted Jai Shri Ram. So what's wrong with her? I think she should go for some kind of self-analysis, and all these people who have been supporting her behavior are not doing any service to her. I think this is absolutely ridiculous. And as far as saying Jai Shri Ram is concerned, I think it's good to say Jai Shri Ram in India. It is India, it is Hindustan. See, Vande Mataram, Inqilab Zindabad, in fact, these become slogans only when people accept. And Jai Shri Ram slogan has been accepted by the people of India. And I don't think Mamata Banerjee needs to be so jittery about it. Does it hurt her fragile ego? I just feel that she thinks that it hurts her ego. You know, somewhere or the other, she has a sense of insecurity.
Okay.
She suddenly gets very angry, and she suddenly feels that it has hurt her ego, and that is why
personal ego over people's welfare. Nilanjan Das, because the BJP is calling it fragile ego of Mamata Banerjee that is repeatedly getting hurt for no uncalled for reason.
Can I just take 30 seconds?
Whatever has happened was extremely unfortunate. This cannot happen.
I'll come back to you, Ms.
This cannot be allowed to happen. And I must applaud my Chief Minister. She stood there, she maintained her calm, and then she responded in the most befitting manner. She addressed the Prime Minister with compassion. He had just lost his mother. He had just performed the cremation of his mother, and then he attended this program virtually. And what kind of behavior is this? And this is, don't call it chanting. It was howling. It was heckling. It was heckling of the only woman Chief Minister of India. You have to understand, you have to put it in perspective. These BJP people, they are shameless people. They are uncultured people. You have to
What does it have to do with the only woman Chief Minister of India, sir? Why are we playing the victim card here?
Why should you be playing
this is what the there's no victim card. There's no victim card. Please mute this BJP
You're saying it for the second time that these kind of slogans are being heard at the only woman Chief Minister in the country.
This has been heard only at Mamata Banerjee. Okay, let me rephrase myself.
But why does Mamata Banerjee have to react in this particular manner each and every time? If she doesn't want to pay heed to these kind of slogans, then she must stop reacting. Why is she feeling the provocation so intensely?
That is the problem with the BJP, because she has not reacted. She stood there. She stood there. She stood her ground.
She stood her ground, but she did not walk up to the dais and sit with the other union ministers.
Why should she?
As part of the program.
Why were these depraved BJP people invited at an official government program of railway ministry? Why were these people invited? Who were these people? What were their credentials? Why was I not invited?
My dear friends, can I just come in?
Okay, Ms. Sarangi, yeah, go ahead.
My dear friend from TMC should remember that 7,800 crore rupees of projects from Government of India were actually started, launched in West Bengal today by Honorable Prime Minister. This was a momentous occasion. I think all of us have the right to go to this particular place and watch the event. So
no, it was not allowed, madam. I think you are not aware. You are not aware. I was not allowed.
They are all residents of West Bengal and they are proud of the fact that central government
why only BJP people holding BJP scarves be allowed?
What's wrong in that? And if they say Jai Shri Ram,
of course it's
why
wrong.
does your Chief Minister, please don't call her a woman Chief Minister. This is an affront to the dignity of women all across. I am a woman.
Please shut up.
But why should she
mind your language.
jittery?
Mr. Das, mind your language,
Why should she
please.
be feeling jittery about it? Why should she get provoked?
She was not
Why
feeling
should
jittery.
she be
You are
reacting
feeling
in
jittery.
such a manner? And she has been doing so all through. Is
She
this the
has
way to
done.
behave?
You are feeling jittery. The BJP is
There is
jittery.
a-
Okay.
There is
Okay.
a good
All right.
program
Let me
going on and
also
suddenly-
bring in Tushar Gupta. Tushar Gupta, do you also, in a sense, not feel that the fact that a sitting chief minister was to take part in this event was to perhaps be on the stage, but she refused to join the other union ministers, given the kind of chants that were hurled at her? In that sense, BJP is also to an extent trying to internalize the Jai Shri Ram chant. Remember how the Union Home Minister had also said that after the elections, it's going to be Mamata Banerjee who herself is going to be chanting Jai Shri Ram. So why this kind of an attachment with Jai Shri Ram and an attempt every now and then to hurl those slogans at the TMC Chief Minister, the West Bengal Chief Minister?
But why not? I mean, my question is not how is it a provocation. My question is why is it a provocation for Mamata Banerjee? We are a country of at least 1 billion Hindus. Jai Shri Ram is not something we say at political events. We say it before every work we begin. It might be a simple drive we might be taking. It might be a simple exam we might be writing. It be something auspicious. We say it every time. How is it a religious provocation or a political provocation for Mamata Banerjee? You know, Prithvi, on other debates, on other days, these TMC spokespersons, one of them here, very uncouth personality, they come and sell us the idea that Mamata Banerjee should be the one who should stand against Narendra Modi in 2024. She is the mass leader of the people. She should be the prime ministerial candidate. And here she is getting rattled by Jai Shri Ram. What kind of a prime ministerial candidate is the TMC trying to sell us who cannot stand the chants of Jai Shri Ram?
Okay.
And Krithwin, I won't mince my words. It's probably bad for the people of Bengal when their chief minister prioritizes her own fragile ego. I agree with the BJP. This can be best described as fragile ego over the development of the state. Her own government is doing nothing. It's in heavy debt. They are not attracting the industrialists. The corruption is uncontrollable. And here the TMC spokesperson, while asking other people to shut up, while the TMC spokesperson, while asking other people to shut up, is asking why were the officials from the center there? I mean, look at the behavior of the TMC. My simple question is, you want to sell Mamata Banerjee as the national leader for 2024? This is not how she can behave. If she's rattled by the chants of Jai Shri Ram, which are deeply pierced to at least 1 billion people in India, something is wrong with her, not with the BJP, not with the people chanting her. Chanting the slogan.
Professor Monojit Mandal, what kind of a message is it sending out? All in all, I want to understand from you, what kind of a message is it sending out to the TMC supporters? Forget anything else. Because here's the Prime Minister, after perhaps having suffered the biggest loss ever in his life, having lost her mother, you know, he decides to go ahead with something that was pre-scheduled. Of course, he attended it via the virtual media, but he decided to go ahead with the event, and he said that he even apologized for it to that matter, to that extent. But there you have the Chief Minister, having been physically present there, getting irked by the Jai Shri Ram chants, refusing to go to the dais. What kind of a message is it sending out?
Refusing to go to the dais does not mean that she did not attend the program. She attended the program with all
Vande Bharat
dignity.
Express in West Bengal is for the people of the state, sir.
Everyone knows
moment that the Chief Minister must take pride
This is not a news. This is not a news, madam. Everyone knows it, and that's why Mamata Ji was present there. She maintained her dignity, reticence, but I repeat, the kind of language that I hear from a former civil servant who is a BJP spokesperson, you know, the kind of language about a chief minister, whether she is woman or not, that besides the point. You know, ill-tempered. What kind of a language is? Please, madam, please, I did not disturb you. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this behavior. This is the same behavior, uncourteous, uncivic behavior that we get from BJP spokesperson every now and then, even on TV.
How is it so?
Did I disturb you, madam? What is your problem?
BJP workers,
Who is? I pity you. I really pity you.
People from your side have been saying this.
How could he become a civil servant? I want to understand. Such uncivic behavior on TV.
Oh.
Please pardon me saying this.
No, I'm not going to allow any of those personal remarks.
No.
No, I want to interrupt and I want to go across to Smita Prakash on that. Smita, now that you've heard both the sides, do you think an attempt is being made on a repeated basis to instigate the West Bengal Chief Minister? Because here's not the first such instance wherein, Jai Shri Ram chants have been thrown at her. Of course, the BJP of the opinion, why get provoked? But why instigate either?
You are not allowing my party to have his voice.
I'll come back to you, Professor Mandal. Smita Prakash, go ahead.
Your friend was interrupting me. I did not. That is gutsy.
I can quite understand that political party spokespersons get agitated with what has happened and the politicization of an event which has several connotations to it. One, it was a development project. So people of Bengal are going to benefit because of this train. I mean, it's what, 550 kilometers or something like that is this train, and it's going to cut short people's hassles of commuting. That's all that people care about. They don't care कि slogan किसी ने raise किया, somebody got offended. It's only political parties doing dirty politics. And I'm sorry to say dirty politics on a day like this when it was neither a day for politics for Prime Minister Modi nor a day for politics for Mamta Banerjee. I don't think either of them did politics. I think both of them behaved like statesmen. The only thing was that maybe Mamta Banerjee could have ignored the comment, the slogan today. Maybe she could have gone, even to say it's a slogan or a chant or a catchphrase, whatever it might be. Today maybe she could have ignored it and gone on stage, but she conducted herself gracefully and did not walk out of the event, and she spoke highly to the Prime Minister of the Prime Minister's mother. I think both of them behaved like a good Chief Minister should and a good Prime Minister should. Like Karmayogi that they both are.
Smita, what you're telling us is all the more the fact that perhaps Mamta Banerjee could have been the bigger person today, because after the big loss to the Prime Minister, he did turn up for the event, whatever said and done. So in that sense, Mamta Banerjee also for a change could have just turned a blind eye to these kind of provocations, as the TMC calls it. I want Lokesh Jindal to come in as well, because it doesn't end there. And
yes, probably she could have.
With what the Samajwadi Party leader IP Singh said. I mean, calling it not living up to the rituals, sir, mentioning Tervi and drawing in a parallel with Akhilesh Yadav. How ridiculous is that? Today, will the Congress Party endorse it or condemn it?
Well, there are both the sides, like too much of broadcasting of the event and such a form of statement, both are condemnable, because it's a personal loss, a very great loss for our Prime Minister. It's highly emotional also, and so I believe that no form of politics should indulge into it. We should refrain from giving any political statement with respect to what the Prime Minister ought to do and what he not ought to do, and it's his personal choice. I mean, let us not bring this personal tragedy into the realm of politics. I would appeal that anybody who mentions this to gain some brownie point and all, whether it is from BJP or from opposition or any political party, is not something that is acceptable, and that's not human at all. I would say that we need to be a bit more compassionate.
Okay, great. We've come to terms with the fact that there needs to be a little more compassion, a little more sensitivity with regards to these kind of uncalled for statements that have been made by some, especially the likes of IP Singh. Tushar Gupta, back to the whole debate wherein the TMC speaks of how this was provocation on the BJP's part to have hurled those slogans at the Chief Minister. This is not the first such time. In fact, we've seen Mamta Banerjee's tirade against invocation of Ram. It's been witnessed in the past as well. So what do you think is the issue here? Do you think it's the BJP overindulging in Jai Shri Ram time and again to provoke the BJP, or do you think it's just the TMC making an issue out of nothing?
It's rather both actually. You know, the BJP, the state unit, as Ms. Prakash also pointed out very correctly, they set a trap for the Chief Minister, and every time she gets caught up in it, every time she falls for the bait. But at the end of the day, we also have to understand, TMC is the biggest party in West Bengal, one of the key parties in the northeast. It is unbecoming of the Chief Minister of Bengal, with her stature, with her history in the Indian politics, with her, you know, potential candidature for 2024 to be rattled by this, by these slogans, by these chants. At the end of the day, her voters are not only Muslims, her voters are also Hindus for whatever reasons, and they believe in the chanting of Jai Shri Ram. So I don't understand why she gets so rattled. TMC is also made up of people who are Hindus and they chant Jai Shri Ram. So at the end of the day, we need to ask, what is Mamata Banerjee getting rattled for? Is it a fragile ego? It is something related to minority appeasement? Or is it just some general tantrums she likes throwing around?
Okay. Mr. Mandal, would you want to come in?
No,
Workers
yeah,
often mouth slogans.
definitely.
Why does the Chief Minister have to give in each and every time? And especially on a day such as this, when the Prime Minister is living it up by setting a big example. It wasn't an easy day for him.
Madam Anchor, if you have called by party, you'll give full opportunity to make by party the point.
So the only thing you're saying is that this is provocation by the BJP.
What is your problem?
I really want to understand what the provocation is really here. What is the problem with Jai Shri Ram?
No, what is your problem, madam? You don't allow us to complete a single sentence.
Go ahead,
and if you call my party continuously hurling abuses on my Chief Minister, fragile ego, ill-tempered, what the hell is this? Is this the way party behaves?
That's the charge by the BJP, to which you're free to respond, sir.
No, are you allowing me to respond?
No, go ahead.
And whenever I call out the BJP spokesperson, she comes in, she budges in, and you call this uncivic behavior?
The only thing, and correct
me
if I'm wrong,
is that I tell you,
is that this is provocation on BJP's part, and the Chief Minister was very graceful in not walking up to the dais and just sitting on the sideline.
Look at yourself. You have called my party.
So tell me, sir,
let my party speak.
What the DMC has if a few workers of the BJP
why are you so rattled? I don't understand.
Why are you understand? Is it more important or greater or bigger than the event that was taking place there?
What kind of program is this? Why are you so rattled
in West Bengal today?
Why are you so rattled? I don't understand.
I'm asking you such a simple question.
Allow me to make my point.
You have all the time. We need to quickly wrap up. Please have your say.
Yes. The fact remains that what is rattling for BJP, because they still can digest the ugly but doshapar Amit Shah's statement, war cry, they are still unable to digest. I repeat, Mamata Di was most gracious. She may not have gone to the dais, that's her personal choice. Why should she go to the dais when the people who are unwanted people who are sitting on the dais? Did you invite all the MPs? Why Mr. Sukanta Chaudhary was there as an MP? Did you call all the MPs? Did you call all the political leaders, all the MLAs? Look at this. Now if I call this person an answering person, it becomes an insult.
Express being launched there, and she being the Chief Minister, the first in West Bengal, should she not have been on the dais?
Why should she be when political leaders are there? This is a governmental program. This is not a political program. What Mr. Sukanta Chaudhary was there?
Okay.
Why Mr. Shubhendu Adhikari was there?
Sarangi, the Chief Minister need not be on the dais. So that settles the debate all in all.
Government functionaries?
Nothing can be more ridiculous than this.
Kind of orgasmic laugh that she is having.
Prime Minister have to go to the state of West Bengal. Prime Minister joined them through video conferencing. All the union ministers were there on the dais, and Chief Minister of the state says she would not go to the dais, and these people are trying to justify her stand. I mean, what kind of psychophancy is this? Whatever is right, and whatever is wrong. Please advise your Chief Minister not to be so ill-tempered, not to have that fragile ego, not to get rattled so easily. I'm telling you, this is a disservice to your Chief Minister. As a spokesperson of the party, I think it's better that you put in the right kind of advice.
Okay, Ms. Sarangi, but on that note, this wasn't a political party's function. It wasn't the BJP event. Why is it that the BJP workers had to resort to that kind of sloganeering, and why was it left unchecked? That's also a question that stands valid at this point in time.
There are one. I mean, I fail to understand why should Jai Shri Ram be termed as BJP slogan?
I think she does.
The only thing TMC is asking the
1 billion
is why
Hindus
Jai
are
Shri
there
Ram?
in the country, and throughout the day we keep on saying Jai Shri Ram to ourselves within, and sometimes aloud. What's wrong with Jai Shri Ram? Why should she get provoked every time?
Okay, I see Lokesh Jindal wants to come in. Lokesh Jindal.
Of slogans.
Excuse
Show me
me,
another
first
instance
all,
of a
I want to ask
government
certain
event where
questions.
you chanted.
Was
this
it
kind
a
of slogan?
Dashera event, madam? Secondly, was the train going to Ayodhya? There was no need for giving slogans of Jai Shri Ram. It was a event organized for the railway, by the railway.
Why do you have
Ministry, for the
aversion
government
to
event.
Shri Ram?
Madam, please let me complete.
That is the whole
Please
question.
do not interject. Please
See,
do not
you are
interject.
not coming
Please
to
do
the
not
question.
maintain
You are not
some
able to answer the
decency over
question
here.
because you don't
Please
have the
maintain
answer.
some. Please maintain some decency.
My friends from
When we are
TMC,
talking about the
please
table
try
of
to go for
precedence,
self-analysis.
the Chief Minister
Well,
occupies
Lokesh
the
Jindal,
second
that
position.
doesn't quite answer it
And so
yet.
pathetic-
I mean, if the train is
pathetic
not going
state
to
of affairs is
Ayodhya,
candidate, she was a civil
regardless the
servant.
fact that some felt the need to chant
Look,
Jai
tell me
Shri
one
Ram
thing, Crispy.
prompted the
If we
Chief
give this
Minister to
permission
not
to
walk up
everybody,
to the
there would be
dais, the
slogans
BJP
like
has used this as an
Inkalab
ammunition. The BJP has
No.
said that the Chief Minister is placing her ego over the welfare of the people, and that's exactly what the TMC has perhaps given into. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to have to leave it at that. Thank you, gentlemen, Aparajita Sarangi and Smita Prakash, for joining us on the debate this evening. In the meanwhile, the Tunisha death mystery is deepening with each passing day. Up until now, her uncle had doubted a conversion angle, but today, for the first time, Tunisha's mother claimed that Shehzan was forcing Tunisha to convert to Islam after having promised to marry her. Addressing a press briefing, she also spoke of a change in her behavior during the course of her relationship with Shehzan. She also questioned the delay in taking Tunisha to the hospital, saying her death could be a case of murder. In another revelation, the distressed mother stated that Shehzan took drugs and had slapped Tunisha when she confronted him over his girlfriend.
उसके बिहेवियर में जो चेंजेस आ रही थी टुनीशा के, कभी उसकी माँ को अम्मा, उसकी बहन को बोलना और मुस्लिम अपना धर्म अपनाने की उसको करता था है, और शादी का वादा किया, तो ये सब चीज़ें नहीं करनी चाहिए थी उसको जब उसका किसी और लड़की के साथ था।
क्या उसको हिजाब पहनाना ये सब चीज़ें शुरू करवा दी?
हाँ, शुरू करवा दी थी। शिजान ही उसको वहाँ से उतार रहा है कमरे में से,
जैसा कि पता चला
शिजान ने उसको उतारा है।
एक बात
फिर
और
एम्बुलेंस नहीं मंगाई। हाँ, मर्डर भी हो सकता है। मैं तो बोलूँगी।
एक बात और सुनने में आई है सेट से कि 15 मिनट तक उसको उतारने के बाद 15 मिनट तक कोई गाड़ी नहीं थी वहाँ पे। डॉक्टर के पास पहुँचे तो डॉक्टर का कहना है कि उसकी डेथ को आधा घंटा हो चुका था।
मेरे को टुनीशा ने बताया था।
क्या बताया था?
कि मम्मा शिजान ना नशा वशा करता है सेट पे, बस इसके अलावा उसने मुझसे कोई बात नहीं की। शिजान को जब तक सज़ा नहीं मिलती मैं चैन से बैठने वाली नहीं हूँ। फिर एक दिन अचानक उसने उसका मोबाइल चेक किया शिजान का, जिसमें उसकी गर्लफ्रेंड का कुछ चैट था, पता नहीं आई डोंट नो क्या था। तो इसने पूछा, शिजान से पूछा कि ये क्या है। शिजान ने टुनीशा के थप्पड़ मारा सेट पे, रूम में थप्पड़ मारा। तो वो कहता तू कर ले जो कुछ करना है, मेरा तेरे साथ कोई रिश्ता नहीं है।
Also access the remand note, which brings to fore some startling details of the investigation. Cops say Shehzan is not giving direct answers on his suspicious conversation with Tunisha on the day of the alleged suicide, which has been caught on CCTV as well. The police have recovered important chats from Shehzan's phone and revealed that he was in touch with several other women as well. The remand note also makes a mention of Tunisha's mother's allegations that she was pressurized to learn Urdu and also to wear a hijab. Shehzan's lawyer, though, has asserted that there is no case against him, and his family too will be addressing the media to counter the allegations being levelled by Tunisha's mother.
उनकी मां का एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस आज 11 बजे हुआ है, जहां पे उन्होंने एक नया आरोप लगाया है थप्पड़ मारने का। सिर्फ उतने की वजह से उनका एक दिन का पीसी एक्सटेंड हुआ है। सरासर गलत है। पुलिस अपनी जांच में ये आज नहीं तो कल मानना होगा उनको।
मिस्ट्री गर्लफ्रेंड का क्या रोल है सर इसमें?
कोई मिस्ट्री गर्लफ्रेंड नहीं है। इसने अपने स्टेटमेंट में या पुलिस ने अपने रिमांड में या पुलिस ने अपने इन्वेस्टिगेशन में इस तरह की बातों को ना तो अभी तक एक्सेप्ट किया है, ना ही इसके खिलाफ किसी तरह का कोई सबूत रिकॉर्ड पे लाया है। रिमांड रिपोर्ट के ऊपर डिसाइड करेंगे हम हमारा एक्शन कल।
आपके हिसाब से शहजान बेकसूर है, कोई भी उसका रोल नहीं है इस पूरे केस में?
बिल्कुल, एक दिन का वेट करिए। उनके परिवार का जब प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस होएगा बहुत सी सत्यता सामने आने वाली है।
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 2 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
All right, let's open this up. We have Tunisha Sharma, Tunisha's lawyer, with us this evening. Also with us is Raya Labib, Tunisha's friend, Shalin Chopra, actor, actress Manvi Taneja as well, actor Nasir Abdullah, and political analyst Ravi Srivastav. I want to begin by asking you, Mr. Tarun Sharma, this, that the mother now that has alleged that there is a conversion angle, that Tunisha was being forced to learn Urdu, she was being forced to wear a hijab. What is it that the mother is essentially trying to say, and how is it that you're also in the future going to be building a case around it?
The allegations which have been levelled by mother, that was in respect of the first statement and also in the further statement which was taken up by the investigation agency. And after those statements, what I see, that even the investigation agency is in today's remand has stated all the facts which were brought by the mother in the first statement and also in the second statement. In respect of conversion and all, that angle has to be investigated by the investigation agency. It has to be investigation from the day one, from this serial started, from the set members and also the other co-stars who are going to be part of that set.
But have you heard of this kind of an allegation being levelled by anyone else who was working with her the last couple of months?
This is a very initial stage and a prima facie, but there is not only a mother statement, but there are other statements also which I shall not be disclosing before this the interview, because this may hamper my investigation, and even the other members may come to know about the witness's name, which would be certainly very difficult for me to maintain the secrecy. Otherwise, the accused may tamper with those witnesses also.
Okay, all right. So you're not wanting to reveal much. Mr. Ravi Srivastav, given whatever has come to light, in public domain so far, and now these sensational allegations that have been leveled by the mother, remember on record she's gone on camera for the first time to state that, there was an attempt being made to forcefully convert Tunisha by Shehzan. Would you sideline it? Would you give in to it? Because she says that there was a behavioral change in Tunisha all through her relationship with Shehzan. She started wearing the hijab more often. She started feeling the need to learn Urdu, perhaps was being pressurized by Shehzan's family.
That's when I think, first of all, I got full sympathy for the mother who lost her daughter. But the fact is, there is absolutely no case against the Shehzan at this moment. What I have seen is that there are all one-sided versions. There are no, incontrovertible evidences for verifying these things. That wearing hijab, opposite what? Ganpati Bappa. So what kind of conversion is this? And post-conversion is being blamed over there. And first of all, they are mature adults. And this is a case of simple emotional breakdown and unable to bear a pressure of a breakdown. I think this is the only case. There is nothing else which has come out on record which is proved. So it is all one-sided story that mother is making. After this Athavle's visit, some 25 lakh compensation is being talked about, some conversion is being talked about. I think these are all baseless, concocted, fabricated thoughts against that person, and there is
if we're not quite concluding whether or not there was a forced conversion angle, then we can't quite conclude that there wasn't. So we're not jumping to conclusions as yet, but Shalin wants to come in. Shalin.
Has expressed that her daughter was in love with Shehzan Khan and that Shehzan Khan brainwashed her in the name of love. This is not right. A panelist here says that this is not a case of love jihad and that we should not impose, our opinions on this matter. Why not? It is a clear case of love jihad, ma'am.
There is no love jihad.
But Sherlin,
no love jihad at all.
also comes to light another question then. Why is it that this kind of a claim is being made by the mother after 5 long days into the investigations? Why did she not feel the need to come out and tell anybody so far, even the police for that matter, that an attempt was being made to forcefully convert her daughter?
Taken to the dargah. Why, in the name of love, did Shizan Khan wear a tilak on his forehead? No, in the name of love, he did no such thing. Why was Tunisha Sharma made to wear a hijab in the name of love? Why was she taken to the dargah in the name of love?
Oh, are you talking about a criminal? Are you talking about a criminal offence here? What is a criminal offence?
Yes.
What is
she
a
was
criminal
misled.
offence?
Tunisha Sharma was misled, and she was compelled to commit suicide. Or it could be a case of murder as per Tunisha Sharma's mother. She says that no angle should be fed.
What is wrong in it? Somebody out of love wears a hijab or wears a kitta on the forehead. What is wrong in it? Why you are trying to give it a communal color? You are trying to give it communal color.
Poor Shizan.
You are trying to make it communal color.
Poor Shizan.
You are trying to divide.
Okay.
You are trying to divide the community.
Okay, Ravi Srivastav says Sherlin is trying to give it a communal color. Sherlin is saying that in the name of love, why is it that she was being forced to wear a hijab? All right. Nasir Abdullah, Mr. Nasir Abdullah, what do you make of this? Let's look at it from a collective point of view. Mr. Abdullah, hold on, Sherlin, hold on. I'll come back to you. Hold on, everyone, calm down. Let's give everyone a chance, Sherlin. Hold on. Mr. Nasir Abdullah, now given that the mother has come out to say that perhaps her daughter's life could have been saved, the hospital doctor confirmed to the family that when she was brought to the hospital, she perhaps died half an hour prior to that, is what the mother has maintained so far. Then she goes on to talk about a case of cheating. She goes on to say that her daughter had confided in the mother and said that, Zishan used to take drugs, that he'd even slapped her when she confronted him about an alleged girlfriend who was a part of his life or who he was involved with. Given everything that the mother so far has said, given everything that the police so far has stated with regards to a mismatch in Shehzan's statement, don't you think that this man can so far not be given a clean sheet and greater investigation is needed?
Yeah, you've given me all the options, madam, to think about, and I just wanted to make a request before I start. It'll be brief, but I just wanted to be requested that I won't be interrupted. I've been very quiet, and I always am, and I think the people who might be interrupting me know what I'm actually talking about, so if I can have I'm only speaking my mind, and I will be speaking the facts. So it would be nice if I'm not interrupted, and if I'm interrupted, would you please mute them? Thank you. So I have a bit of a problem with the fact that before the love jihad angle happened to come up, certain netas, certain politicians from the BHP and others, Mr. Ram Kadam, another gentleman who's a minister, they already knew it is love jihad. They are like us. We don't know what happened. We are getting information slowly, and it is gathering momentum, and various things are happening. Many things are wrong, and there is even the intoxication angle, etc., etc. But how did these other people know that is love jihad when we didn't know, or nobody knew until that? So I don't like this jumping to the conclusions by those people, and then here is happening later. But that's what I don't like. Secondly, we are making everything look very suspicious, and now this murder aspect is happening. She was found hanging in her bathroom with the crepe bandage which was around her wrist for an injury. A crepe bandage is very strong and it can hold the weight of a person, and she was not that heavy. Fine. They had to break open the door. Now how can her mother say that it was a murder? See? Okay,
No,
yeah.
the mystery
Can you
is
keep
there
quiet? The door was locked. They had to
because there
break
is
it
so
open.
much that's
Okay,
coming
see,
out in public
okay.
domain, Mr.
See,
Nasir
see,
Abdullah.
I don't-
Suggests that there is more to it. That suggests
the
that there is more to it.
bathroom-
3
whichever
o'clock
bathroom-
is if she
the
was seen
bathroom
having
door
lunch
was
with
closed.
Shehzan. How is it that at 3:15 or
Hang on,
3:20 for
hang
that
on.
matter,
No.
she was found hanging inside the makeup room? So there is more to it, and that's
Very
why the
good.
police are investigating the case. I'll come back to you. Raya Labib is her friend, so let me go across to her because she can perhaps tell us if there was something going on in Tunisha's life that needed to be told, that perhaps needed to be acted upon. Raya, उनकी माताश्री कहती है कि तुनिशा को मारा गया था, कि शैतान ड्रग्स लेता था, तो आपको क्या ये नहीं लगता कि अगर ये सब जानकारी थी उनकी माताश्री के पास तो पहले ही एक्शन ले सकती थी, वो पहले ही पुलिस को बता सकती थी या पहले ही कुछ और कर सकती थी, शायद ये ना होता आज?
हो सकता है उन्होंने समझाने की कोशिश की हो, ऐसा भी हो सकता है उसको समझाया हो बट उसने नहीं सुना हो। उसने कोशिश की है कि शेजान खान ठीक हो जाए, सुधर जाए, फिर हम लोग शादी कर लेंगे। बिकॉज तुनिसा ऑलवेज जब भी मुझे मिलती थी वो मुझे बोलती थी कि मैं बहुत ज्यादा शेजान खान को मैं बहुत ज्यादा प्यार करती हूँ। तो जब प्यार इस हद तक पहुंच जाते हैं तो इंसान को समझ में नहीं आती है। तो हो सकता है उसके मदर ने उसको समझाने की कोशिश की बट उसने सुनी नहीं होगी। हो सकता है उसने कोशिश की कि शेजान खान सुधर जाए बट शेजान खान ने कंट्रोल होने की कोशिश ही नहीं किया। शेजान खान दूसरे लड़कियों के साथ अफेयर चलाता गया, शेजान खान ड्रग्स लेता गया, शेजान खान टॉर्चर करता गया। इवन मैंने हाजी अली में खुद देखा था तुनिसा और शेजान खान को। जब मैंने हाजी अली गई थी आते वक्त तुनिसा और शेजान खान हाजी अली में जा रहा था, तो वही तुनिसा और शेजान ने मुझे देखा। तुनिसा ने नॉर्मली मुझे हाय बोलते हुए निकल गया। तो ये बातें मैंने तुनिसा को हिजाब पहनते हुए भी देखा था। तो हो सकता है शेजान खान कंट्रोल करना चाहता था।
पर क्या ये शेजान को मिलने के बाद ही था? क्या उससे पहले आपने कभी उन्हें हिजाब पहनते हुए नहीं देखा, या उनके किरदार से कुछ लेना देना हो हिजाब पहनने का, ऐसा कुछ भी हो सकता है?
शेजान खान को मिलने से पहले मैंने तुनिसा को हिजाब में कभी नहीं देखा।
अच्छा, ओके
जी।
Manvi Taneja, what do you make of the arguments being presented? Also, many are of the opinion that an attempt is being made to give this religious color, but there are evidences that have been put forth that cannot be ignored either.
But still, we cannot come to a conclusion on the basis of assumption that ho sakta hai, as she said, the person who was talking before me, because there was no love. After breakup, there was no love. It was just one-side love. And I really don't understand where was the mother when Shehzan was asking her to wear hijab, when he was forcing her for some monetary favors, when he forced her to visit Dargah, when Tanisha was standing there, as in Tanisha used to call Shehzan's mom Amma. So she did never speak up then. And why she is coming up with the facts now? As if I talk about her, she's saying that these are the facts. In fact, when Shehzan slapped Tanisha, her mother would have filed a complaint against him.
So why did the mother not quite act in time? And especially if, for example, if Shehzan is to be believed with regards to how she tried to commit suicide earlier as well, also with regards to how her mother is confirmed that she did suffer a panic attack as well, why is it that there was no greater intervention that came in? But the fact remains that these are serious charges being leveled by the mother. Whether or not it makes this a fit case of abetment to suicide is something that we're watching out for. Certainly, these allegations cannot be completely sidelined. Remains to be seen what happens next. His custody has been extended by a day. Thank you all of you for joining us on this debate. We're watching out and keeping you on top of this story every passing day. Thank you.
The News Hour at 9 will be right back after the break.
The smartphone category in India is anyway popular, right? उसमें भी जो 20 से 25 हजार वाले स्मार्टफोन्स हैं वो और भी ज्यादा पॉपुलर हैं। शायद इसीलिए Infinix ने आज अपना 020 स्मार्टफोन लॉन्च कर दिया है। I have the smartphone with me right here और इसको आज करेंगे unbox. Hi, you're watching Gadget Time. This is me, Padmaja, and it's time for me to unbox this device और देखते हैं फोन में आपको क्या-क्या contents दिखाई देंगे. Let's begin. अनबॉक्स हो चुका है। जैसे कि आपने देखा यहाँ पर स्टिकर उतारते हुए मैंने इसे थोड़ा सा गंद मचा दी। यहाँ पे स्टिकर ऑलरेडी दिखाई दे रहा है, बट इसको क्लीन करेंगे बाद में। अभी बात करेंगे स्मार्टफोन के बारे में। थोड़ा सा मुझे वेट इसका ज्यादा लग रहा है, वो यूज करने के बाद पता चलेगा कि ये कितना कंफर्टेबल है। अदर देन दैट यू गेट 3 कैमराज एट द बैक। इसको आपको मिलेगा स्क्वायरिश कैमरा मॉड्यूल के अंदर। द मेन कैमरा इज 108 मेगापिक्सल और यही इसका यूएसपी है। सिर्फ बैक कैमरास की बात नहीं है बॉस, आपको फ्रंट कैमरा भी बहुत ही धांसू दिखाई दे रहा है। एटलीस्ट ऑन द स्पेक शीट यूज करने पे पता चलेगा कि कितना अच्छा है या नहीं अच्छा है। फ्रंट कैमरा जो इसका है वो आपको मिलता है 60 मेगापिक्सल का फ्रंट शूटर। आपको इसमें दिखाई देगा फुल HD प्लस एमोलेड पैनल। बेजल्स थोड़े से मुझे मोटे दिखाई दे रहे हैं, टॉप और बॉटम वाला स्पेशली। साइड बेजल्स आर स्टिल स्लिम। व्हाट कीप्स दिस स्मार्टफोन अलाइव इज Helio G99 चिपसेट। बैटरी की बात करें तो इसमें आपको मिलता है 45 वॉट का फास्ट चार्जिंग सिस्टम, विच इज प्रिटी गुड। एट द बॉटम यू ऑल्सो गेट अ 3.5 mm हेडफोन जैक एंड दैट इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, क्योंकि आजकल के फोन में ये आपको बिल्कुल दिखाई नहीं देता है। सो यू डू नॉट हैव टू जस्ट रिलाई ऑन योर वायरलेस ईयरबड्स। आप यहाँ पर अपने वायर्ड हेडफोन्स का भी इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं। स्पीकर के साथ आपको मिलता है Type-C पोर्ट। ऊपर की तरफ माइक्रोफोन है। राइट साइड पे आपको मिलता है वॉल्यूम रॉकर और साथ में पावर बटन। लेफ्ट साइड इज प्रीटी क्लीन, लेकिन यहाँ पे आपको मिलता है सिम ट्रे और सिम इंजेक्टर टूल बॉक्स में आपको मिलता है, वो मैं दिखा चुकी हूँ। यहीं पर सिम ट्रे की बात करते करते मेरी नजर गई है फ्रेम पर, विच इज प्रीटी ग्लॉसी। मेटल तो नहीं है, लेकिन ऐसा फील जरूर दे रहा है दैट इट्स मेटल। बाकी ये था मेरा ओवरऑल लुक एट द स्मार्टफोन। अगर आप जानना चाहते हैं कि क्या आपको ये खरीदना चाहिए एट अराउंड ₹20,000-25,000, क्या ये अच्छा ऑप्शन है या नहीं, उसके लिए यू रियली नीड टू स्टे ट्यून्ड टू गैजेट टाइम्स टू फाइंड आउट इट्स फुल रिव्यू। नाउ यू गाइज नो द ड्रिल, लाइक, शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब एंड जस्ट स्टे ट्यून्ड टू गैजेट टाइम्स। थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग दिस वीडियो।
Beg for more. You're watching the News Hour at 9.
Prime Minister Modi flagged off Vande Bharat Express connecting Howrah to New Jalpaiguri in West Bengal via video conferencing. Cricketer Rishabh Pant's car met with a horrific accident earlier today after his car crashed into a divider. He is getting treated at Max Hospital in Dehradun. After 18 children died in Uzbekistan, all manufacturing activities of Marion Biotech in Noida have been stopped in view of reports of contamination in cough syrup. Congress takes a jibe at Yogi Sarkar. Day after road caved in Lucknow, Congress Karnataka chief mocks UP model on Twitter. National Commission for Women issued advisory to all states to direct coaching institutions to ensure strict implementation of Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act.
You were watching the News Hour at 9. Stay tuned.
Let's get it started, yeah, you know it's game time. Ain't no excuses tolerated while you can't grind. It's like you're on the job, you know they came in.
Hello everyone, ये है बजाज की नई पल्सर P150 in case you're wondering, 150 ऑलरेडी मौजूद है, तो इस P वर्जन को लाने का कारण क्या है, मतलब क्या है? सो कारण बहुत सारे हैं, डिजाइन को लेकर, फीचर्स को लेकर और कुछ हद तक परफॉर्मेंस को लेकर भी इस पी वर्जन में बदलाव देखने को मिलते हैं। तो क्या है वो सारे बदलाव इस नई पल्सर P150 में, उन सभी के बारे में मैं आपसे बात करने वाला हूं इस रिव्यू के अंदर। और रिव्यू के एंड में बात करेंगे 3 धांसू और 3 नॉट धांसू एलिमेंट्स मुझे क्या लगते हैं इस बजाज पल्सर P150 के बारे में। अब डिजाइन की बात करें तो यहाँ पर जो नयापन देखने को मिल रहा है, स्पेशली ओवरऑल 150 जो पल्सर है उसके मुकाबले इन टर्म्स ऑफ डिजाइन पूरी आपको ये P150 देखने को मिलेगी, लेकिन आपको ओवरऑल जो एसेंस है डिजाइन का वो इसमें N160 वाला देखने को मिलने वाला है। फ्रंट हालांकि अलग है यहाँ पे, लेकिन अब इसमें P150 में प्रोजेक्टर हेडलैम्प्स दिए गए हैं एंड इसमें DRLs भी यहाँ पर इसमें देखने को मिलते हैं। अग्रेसिव, स्पोर्टी एंड शार्प एलिमेंट्स इसके डिजाइन में यहाँ पर देखने को मिल रहे हैं एंड साइड प्रोफाइल जो ओवरऑल है वो आपको N160 वाला ही झलक थ्रू आउट इसके साइड प्रोफाइल में देखने को मिलने वाला है। टैंक से लेकर इसके रियर पैनल्स यहाँ तक जो जाते हैं तो ओवरऑल वो लुक कुछ वैसा ही है, लेकिन अग्रेसिव और शार्प काफी ये इन टर्म्स ऑफ डिजाइन पहले के मुकाबले लग रही है। देन पल्सर की बड़ी सी ब्रांडिंग यहाँ दी गई है एंड यहाँ काउल अलग से देखने को मिल रहा है टैंक पे एंड देयर इज बेली पैन जो यहाँ पे नीचे दिया गया है, जो बॉडी कलर के हिसाब से दिया गया है एंड P150 की ब्रांडिंग यहाँ पर इसमें देखने को मिल रही है।
Good evening and welcome. You are watching the Newshour Agenda. I am Padmaja Joshi. Today the Prime Minister lost his mother Hiraben. She breathed her last at 3:30 a.m. in Gandhinagar. Reaching Ahmedabad in the morning, the Prime Minister quietly carried out the required rituals with a small group of family members. There was no fuss, no grand yatra or a congregation of leaders and netas of the BJP. Within hours, he was back at work, virtually inaugurating a number of projects in West Bengal as was scheduled earlier. But despite that, it seems that it is impossible now in our country to escape some pretty low-level politics even in the passing of someone. From questioning the culture of returning to work while still in mourning to calling the West Bengal event a political stunt, even death, it seems, has to be stripped of dignity. Since the time that he was sworn in as Prime Minister, the PM has said repeatedly that he has made the entire country his family and has dedicated his life to them. Today, that was most evident. After Hiraba passed away in the morning, it was the Prime Minister himself who made the announcement on social media at 6. By 9:30 a.m., he had not just landed in Ahmedabad, but had also carried out his mother's mortal remains to the cremation ground. And by 11, he was back at work, virtually attending the Ganga conference and flagging off the Vande Bharat Express in West Bengal. But even as he decided to follow in his mother's ideals by putting service before self, politics dogged the move. In West Bengal, the Chief Minister refused to share the stage where Railways Minister Ashwini Vaishnav was seated after the flagging off of the Vande Bharat train. Why? Because some people present close to the dais raised slogans of Jai Shri Ram. In Uttar Pradesh, Samajwadi Party Neta IP Singh drew up a distasteful comparison between Akhilesh Yadav and the Prime Minister. He said Akhilesh, after the passing of his father Mulayam Singh Yadav, had carried out all the Hindu rituals while the Prime Minister seemed to be in a hurry to get back to work. Then where is the Hindu sanskar? And finally, the AIUDF, which went so far as to label the entire gesture as nothing more than an effort, a desire to gain attention.
हमारे प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी की मां जो 99 ईयर से अधिक की हो गई थी, उनका निधन आज हो गया है। लेकिन हमारे प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने कहा कि नहीं, कोई भी अपना कार्यक्रम कैंसिल नहीं करेगा और कार्यक्रम करके ही सबको जो है दिल्ली वापस लौटना है। मां हीराबेन जो प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी की मां हैं, उनके चरणों में श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करते हुए अपनी बात यहीं समाप्त करता हूं।
माता प्रथम गुरु होती हैं और जो उनका संस्कार होता है वो जीवन में कभी कोई बच्चा भूल नहीं सकता है। वही माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी किए हैं। अंतिम विदा देने के बाद अपना कर्तव्य पालन किया तो उन्होंने जो किया है मैं उनको प्रणाम करता हूं और उस माता जी को प्रणाम करता हूं जिन्होंने माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी जैसे पुत्र को जन्म दिया। भगवान उन्हें अपने चरणों में स्थान दें।
इसमें आज का दिन कम से कम मोदी को लेकर मैं कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करना चाहता हूं। तो आज माँ चला गया, जन्मदिन वाला माँ चला गया, तो उसी का टाइम में मैं चाहता हूं कि उसको फैमिली के साथ में थोड़ा टाइम दे, भाई बहन भांजा जितना है उसको थोड़ा टाइम दे। इसको लेके फिर पॉलिटिसाइज और दिखावा नहीं होना चाहिए।
Then as the Prime Minister today sent out a message of putting service before self, an ethic that was given to him by his mother herself, and in a time of loss and grief, does it behove anyone to engage in the kind of politics that unfortunately we've seen coming from some quarters?
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us on the debate, Dr. Suman Raman, Vivek Srivastav and Anirban Banerjee, all political analysts, Riju Datta, spokesperson of the TMC, Shehzad Poonawala, national spokesperson of the BJP. But my first question is to Author Uday Mahurkar, because you yourself know Modi ji very closely, Uday ji. A lot of people are saying this is not good to have quickly carried out Hiraba's final rituals and gone back to work. Why did the PM do that?
No, he has been like that only, you know. I mean, there's nothing unusual about it. I mean, I expected this, having known him so closely, you know. You see, I don't think the rituals were carried out in hurry. She died at 3:30 in the morning, and I think that's how it should have happened, you know. And he reporting on duty immediately after that. I mean, there is no reason for anyone to find fault with that.
Especially when
I mean, he was there for the funeral. I mean,
when he's made it very clear,
gave his shoulder to the buyer also.
Yeah, and he's made it very clear in the past that
I think
for
he has set an example. He has set an.
Yes, go on.
You see, he has set an example of how to blend your duty with your family obligations. And it should be appreciated. I'll share my case with you, Padmaja. My parents died in the last 2 years, and I did my hearings in my RTI court soon after the funeral on both the occasions. So what's wrong with it? Nobody found fault with it. There were people who were appreciating it.
In fact, today morning when the Prime Minister announced his mother's death,
it's political.
That time also he said that माँ में मैंने हमेशा उस त्रिमूर्ति की अनुभूति की है जिसमें एक तपस्वी की यात्रा, निष्काम कर्मयोगी का प्रतीक और मूल्यों के प्रति प्रतिबद्ध जीवन समाहित रहा है. When you are a निष्काम कर्मयोगी on a day like this, when he has just laid his mother to rest, Riju Datta, then to come for an event where you have an ugly face-off and the Chief Minister decides to not share a dais. Why? Why on a day like this?
Thank you, Padmaja. I just want to start off by saying that on this solemn occasion, the entire Trinamool Congress fraternity expresses our deepest condolences to Shri Narendra Modi ji and his entire family. And in this hour of grief, we stand by him and we hail the gesture of Pradhan Mantri and his dedication towards public service. But saying that, coming to the debate, you know, this was a government function. And, you know, Prabhu Ram has been brought into the political arena by BJP. And the name of Prabhu Ram, the slogan of Jai Shri Ram, from being a warm greeting in this country, has turned into a lynching war cry by the BJP. It has become a complete political slogan which is now being used to humiliate the Chief Minister of West Bengal and the only female Chief Minister. Well and good. If BJP sees Prabhu Ram in Mamata Banerjee and they always chant this slogan, good for them. But doing that in a government program on a solemn occasion like this is the lowest of the low, and that is why the Honorable Railway Minister and the BJP and the ministers present there has categorically apologized to Mamata Banerjee, and they asked their supporters not to do this heckling. So it is quite evident that even the BJP top brass did not support this kind of
Shehzad Poonawala, here was the Prime Minister who came on this solemn occasion, and then to have created such a situation with chants of Jai Shri Ram only were a blot on his gesture.
Let me first of all acknowledge the condolences expressed by the TMC spokesperson, and in fact join the country in expressing my condolences to the Prime Minister and his family, if this echo could be corrected. Before I answer the question that you posed to me, today is an experience of where we see the Prime Minister behaving like a true Karmayogi, as has been imbibed by his mother, where he put Rashtra above Parivar, where he put Kartavya above personal tragedy, where he transformed and put pain into purpose, and when he allowed his personal grief to take a back seat and he performed his Rashtra Dharma over his Putra Dharma, even though he had performed his Putra Dharma of giving Ma Hira a final farewell, and then he resumed to duty for Ma Bharti. I can't in my wildest imagination understand, please correct this audio echo, it's very disturbing. I can't imagine why anybody would have a problem with this, except for the fact that there is such a level of visceral hatred for anybody who comes from the circumstances of Prime Minister Modi, a self-made person raised by a single mother from a humble background, that these dynastic elitist parties choose even an occasion like this to target him. Now coming to the Trinamool Congress spokesperson. The slogan of Jai Shri Ram is not a BJP slogan. It is not an anti-national slogan. It is not an unconstitutional slogan. We say Bismillah in some cultures. Some cultures say Allahu Akbar before doing some actions. Some cultures say Jai Mata Di, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Bajrangbali, Jai Mata Di. What is the problem if a Chief Minister who uses a public platform to chant Chandi Path, if this is echoed in front of her, why is she taking it personally? How does this become a symbol of teasing her or offending her, except that she has a very low level of tolerance where somebody sings Rang De Tu Mohe Gerua, the show gets cancelled. When somebody chants Jai Shri Ram on the road near her convoy, they get arrested. When somebody makes a cartoon, they are arrested. When a person from a party belonging to us has a film release, his film is not screened in the state auditorium, or the RSS chief is not allowed to carry out his program in a state government auditorium. So I think it is rather the vote bank politics and the low level of tolerance that Mamata Banerjee is displaying.
Intolerance marring even the tribute that you paid, Riju Datta.
Because if she wants to...
Intolerance marring even the tribute.
I just want to say,
Echo correct.
I'll just want to say that, the word Ram, Prabhu Ram, the word Ram is just not a word, it's an entire scripture in itself. And I can understand it is beyond the understanding of BJP who use the name of Lord Ram for their political gains. This is the cheapest and the lowest of politics. Arey, aap political slogan do, koi dikkat nahi hai. You use political slogan, you fight with us politically and constitutionally, there is no harm in it. But when you do that in a government function, instead of Bharat Mata Ki Jai, or before even Mamata Banerjee coming on the stage, there was no sloganing. As soon as she came, you do that just to heckle a woman is the lowest of low, and on that too on the occasion where we are all grieving for the Prime Minister's mother. Shameful display of their uncouth unculturedness by the BJP.
Alright, so who marred the occasion, Udayji? Who marred the occasion? The Prime Minister decided to send out a message. Who marred the message?
No, you see, it's a political thing. I would not like to make it political. But then he has set a great example for the nation. Nation has set a target of 2047. That it will become a great nation by 2047. How will we become great nation? By these actions. By our commitment to our sense of duty. That will make us a great nation, and that's, you see, Prime Minister is an icon. He is followed by crores of people. Not in the country, outside in various countries also, So his actions are much valued. They are a point of inspiration for people, and I think today he has set a great example of putting personal tragedy behind call of duty.
He set a great example, Vivek Srivastava, and yet you have people like IP saying कि आपके संस्कार कैसे हैं. This is visceral hatred for the Prime Minister to bring in such low-level politics.
He has, Padmaja, he has carried out all the funeral rites. He was there.
He's carried out all
how can you question him?
Absolutely.
Had he not come here and
all of the funeral rites have been carried out. It's a comment on the level of politics. And imagine, here is somebody who could have had a 2-day-long procession, who could have had all the ministers, MLAs, leaders, even leaders of opposition who were rushing in to Gandhinagar. But he said, no, this is not needed. Like Rajnath ji said earlier, he sent out a message that please carry on with all of your appointments. Amit Shah went to Karnataka. Rajnath ji continued with his appointment. Arjun Ram Meghwal continued with his appointment, because ultimately it's the Prime Minister who said this is not needed. We do not need some grand procession, Vivek Srivastava. What we need is to actually carry out the message of Hiraben, which is do your job.
I do not know when Hiraben gave the message, or she gave the message or did not give the message. I do not know. So everybody is saying it, or maybe she gave the message. And my condolences to the Prime Minister, not because he is the Prime Minister. किसी की माँ का आज देहांत हुआ है, हमारी सहानुभूति उनके साथ है, हमारे condolences उनके साथ हैं. That is the first part. Whether he is the Prime Minister or not the Prime Minister. Secondly, I mean, it is why are we not giving the Prime Minister the freedom? If he feels that only cremation is all right, then it is okay. If he doesn't want to do a chautha, it is okay. If he doesn't want to do a tervi, it is okay. If he doesn't actually want to follow some rituals, it is his choice. I mean, why does the ruling party or the opposition anyway need to debate upon it? He doesn't believe in some rituals. So let us acknowledge it that he doesn't believe. Okay, I mean, but then however, I mean, you are trying to camouflage it that वो राष्ट्र के काम में लग गए और उनके पास तो साहब 4 घंटे नहीं थे. I mean, all this nautanki and photo ops and getting your photograph clicked and your videos made, and then, you know, your BJP IT cell goes into the brand promotion and marketing. Look at the great Karmayogi, the Prime Minister. I don't agree with it. He has been on animal safaris in the past. He has spent so much of time on so many of his hobbies. We are aware of it, okay? So, I mean, it's not as if the Prime Minister has to do some mathematics. Chalo ji, 15 minutes और बस छूट जाएगी, पकड़ो, भागो. I mean, that is not the way the things work.
It's a personal loss. Why are you making it a public spectacle?
If the Prime Minister feels...
Vivek Srivastava is asking, Shehzad Poonawala.
No, I am not making it a public spectacle.
No, you are calling it a public spectacle, yeah. That's what you said, that the IT cell is publicizing it, they are taking pictures, etc. Well, if somebody has been bereaved and he is getting back to work, sir, let's face it, nothing is more terrible than losing a parent, and if somebody is getting back to work after that, it takes a whole lot of courage and a lot of heart to do that. But why are you making it a spectacle, Shehzad Poonawala?
If I may, Padmaja. Padmaja, I am just glad that Vivek Srivastava and IP Singh were not around when Sardar Patel and Uday Maharkar is here. Sardar Patel had lost his beloved wife while he was arguing a case, and the telegram came. He read the telegram. It obviously conveyed the sad message. He kept it in his pocket and he continued to argue the case. It's not because he loved the case more than his wife. It's because he believed in the commitment to the idea of being a Karmayogi. And these ideas are ingrained in those who are with Bharatiya Sanskriti and culture. I can understand that it might be novel for Mr. Vivek Srivastava and for the Samajwadi Party, but this is ingrained in us that we continue to do our work. No, Mr. Srivastava, don't interrupt. The least you can do is to hear me out patiently. Now, Mr. Srivastava, what exactly is your problem? I have not said anything. The fact that Nehru did he did not spend his time in... One second, sir. Do you know this? So let me at least articulate. Do you know that Jawaharlal Nehru was Jawaharlal Nehru was great, Kamala Nehru was great, Sardar Patel was great, and Prime Minister Modi ji has done something that you should appreciate.
Okay, let's have a serious...
Vivek ji, I do not want to choose to speak over you on this.
Prime Minister Modi, let's please have a peaceful debate. Yes, go on.
Can I have my say?
हाँ ठीक है बोलिए.
You know, exactly. I did not interrupt you, Vivek. At least you can show basic manners. Thank you. You know, it's not your permission I need. I need your silence.
Sir, आप नेहरू जी.
So, Padmaja, what I was trying to convey is only this.
Go on.
अरे म्यूजियम बना दिया, आप चले जाओ कभी. सारे प्रधानमंत्री के लिए म्यूजियम बना है. Padmaja, now the fact that I was trying to put out is only this, that how one deals with their own grief should be left A, entirely to them, B, here is a Prime Minister who puts the needs of Mother India before the passing away or the loss of his own mother, which is perhaps the most tragic event in his own life. Instead of appreciating this, you have the Samajwadi Party of all the parties teaching everybody about being a good Hindu, the same party that rejoiced about firing upon Ram Sevaks. The same party which said that Ram Mandir should not be built is preaching about Hindus.
Okay.
And you have Vivek Srivastava seconding that. And you have a bunch of people coming and saying ego first, not nation first. And ego first to the extent that I won't sit on a dais, even though it is a program
with the camera
for the welfare of my people.
Yeah, it is about your trying to become a hero on every occasion. That is the problem. The problem is the gimmicks. The problem is the gimmicks that you...
Vivek Srivastava, hear yourself when you go back on this debate.
Publicity.
Please do go and hear what you're saying.
Sir, I have to say that again, it is same bunch of people who get apoplectic when you have Mr. Gandhi with Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, which is great. They share a very close bond if they are hugging or he's tying her shoelaces. That's supposed to be the most emotional moment of the entire century. But when somebody else decides to lay his mother to rest and has an emotional moment and decides to get back to duty, that's a gimmick. Why is that, Dr. Sumansi Raman? Before I come back to you, Riju Datta, let Dr. Sumansi Raman and Anirban Banerjee also respond. Yes, Dr. Sumansi Raman.
Padmaja, first of all, our sincere condolences to the Honorable Prime Minister for the loss of his mother. Now, the point is very clear. The Prime Minister chose to continue with his programs for the day, albeit through teleconference. Now, it was a personal choice that it has been made. Had he chosen to take the day off to mourn, I don't think anyone in this country in his right senses would have grudged the Prime Minister a day or two to mourn the loss of his mother. So it is a personal decision which has been taken. So I don't see this as a point which really should be debated in the public domain, simply because it is his decision. Either way, whatever decision he had taken, I don't think really that the people of this country would have really had an issue with it. Now that's the first point. Second point, the issue of most of the events, especially the Bengal events in which he took part today, are not necessarily events that could not have waited for a day or so for a fresh date for the Prime Minister to inaugurate either in person or virtually. So it's not like this is a big international conference, presidents and prime ministers have come from 10 different countries and you can't just postpone an event. This is not like that. This is an inauguration of a few railway projects, some of which have waited for months.
So what are you saying? Are you saying that this was done deliberately to try and make a point? Is that what you're saying?
No, my point is, I don't think that he should either be praised excessively as if some great sacrifice has been made, or at the same time, had he chosen to take a couple of days off, equally he should not have been condemned for that. This is
not a great sacrifice, Shehzad Poonawala. It's a choice.
By the party as some great sacrifice.
It's not a great sacrifice.
It's a matter of choice. You mean to say, Padmaja, would you have run a debate questioning had he taken the day off? Would you have questioned him for that? It's natural. Nobody would have said a word had he taken a couple of days off to mourn his mother.
Okay, it's not a great sacrifice.
This is the third time you're taking my name, but he wouldn't stop. May I speak? Thank you. Padmaja, the principle of being a Karmayogi doesn't depend upon the importance of the event that you have to discharge. I mean, that is just contradictory. If you are a Karmayogi, you continue to do your karma irrespective of the fact whether it is in Sumansi Raman's opinion, a very insignificant event or it's a very grave event. You continue doing what you are tasked to do as the Pradhan Sevak of this country. And therefore it is agnostic to the fact that what event is happening. It is the fact that he had to come to a particular place to inaugurate certain social welfare and public welfare projects, and he continued to do that. and nobody is going and praising him excessively. But yes, when somebody chooses this occasion to abuse him, to insult him only because they have this great sense of visceral hatred, and somebody puts their ego first. Imagine the small-mindedness of a chief minister who is inaugurating projects worth 7,800 crores. The only thing offending her is that somebody shouted Jai Shri Ram, which is not an unconstitutional. It's not that they said Desh ke tukde honge, inshallah, inshallah. I can imagine if she felt offended about that. Somebody saying Jai Shri Ram. Many of us say Jai Ganesh before any project is inaugurated or anything good happens in our life. Before an exam we say Jai Bajrang Bali. So if that is said, her ego is first, and yet you have a problem with somebody who says nation first. Sumansi Raman, I fail to understand you. I thought at least tonight you would have said that here is a leader who puts nation first and another leader who puts ego first. I would this time stand with those who are putting nation first. But Sumansi Raman, end of the year, nothing has changed.
Look, Mamata Banerjee, look, Jai Shri Ram is a slogan which is today very clearly identified and associated with the BJP. I do not see any other party leaders, at least at political rallies, chanting the slogan.
Well,
Shehzad can correct me if I have missed out.
I think this is a debate for another day, sir, because if you are saying it's only the BJP which is associated with Jai Shri Ram, you are automatically saying that all Hindus are associated with the BJP, because across the board every Hindu will say Jai Shri Ram, Ram, Jai Siya Ram. Anyhow, let's not get into that. That's a debate for another day. But Udayji, since a lot of people said, some people here are saying, I don't know what is this message that we are talking about of Hira Ben, which the Prime Minister carried out today. Tell us from your own experience, how is the Prime Minister's action today a reflection of his mother's teachings?
You see, I had the occasion to meet his mother on quite a few occasions over the last 20 years. Is this question for me, Padmaja?
Yes, Udayji, it is. Go on.
So, you see, I have had the occasion of meeting her quite a few times over the last, I think, 20-25 years, you know. And the impression I got was she had, as a mother, as a senior lady of the house, she had very high sanskars. You know, you see, when the Prime Minister chose to become a pracharak as a teenager, that time also I am told that she blessed him. There is an example of Shri Ashok Singhal, the hero of the Ram Janmabhoomi movement, who told me before he passed away that his mother was distraught when he told her that he wants to become a pracharak. Becoming a pracharak means you can't marry, and you have to minimize your relations with your family. So I think you have to see it in that context. And secondly, whenever I met her, she was very, very full of spiritual thoughts, you know, and she was very inspiring. She used to quote examples from Ramayana, Mahabharata, Gita, you know, and you see, I think she is a great example. The simplicity with which the entire Modi family lives is an example which has no parallel across the world. You see, I did a story called The Other Modis in 2016. That time I had the occasion to meet not only his own close relatives, but even extended relatives, his cousins also, you know. And the simplicity I found was unparalleled. For example, I went to Amrut Bhai, his elder brother. I just landed, you know. I mean, it's not that they knew that I am coming. I just called up and I landed maybe within 2 hours, you know, 3 hours. Now, there was a car lying there, a Maruti Alto, which was covered, which had a cover on it, you know. So when I during the course of our conversation, I asked Amrut Bhai and his son, don't you use this car? Why there is a cover on this? He said, sir, we bought this car about a year ago, but we have used it only 3 or 4 times in the last 1 year. So that is the level of, so you see, very contented family. And today, you know, what culture we have seen in the last 40 years. You see, if there is one person becoming a leader or getting a big position, his relatives are always ready to take maximum advantage. His friends are there. Even his distant friends also come to take advantage, you know. And here there is a family of no less than the Prime Minister of India and a very popular Prime Minister on the globe whose family lives with such simplicity. Don't you think it is inspiring?
Okay. And that is the reason today's message is important, Anirban Banerjee, and should not be dismissed or mocked. Because it is about dynasty on one hand, or dynastic impulses on the one hand in politics, and just a simple family on the other. Anirban Banerjee.
First of all, my heartfelt condolences to our Honorable Prime Minister in a moment of his deepest loss. And that is the reason I was actually very, very shocked when I found that the BJP, Prime Minister's own party, actually chose to politicize this tragic event for their own base political interest. In today's event in Howrah, I don't know in what mind is Shehzad trying to defend that particular act of a lumpenism by the BJP workers. Even the BJP ministers and the MPs sitting there were trying to stop them from doing so. So they were actually publicly acknowledging that this is not an act suited to a government event, but there are many leaders, many political leaders, bureaucrats, etc. who are present there. The BJP, after that particular event happened, with the Chief Minister of West Bengal was heckled by the BJP workers, the BJP leaders of various categories, they actually started to defend it by saying that it was the ego of the Chief Minister which stopped her from getting on the dais. No, it was an act of silent protest against this kind of lumpen behavior by political party workers whose topmost leader had set an example early in the morning which we all could follow. So it's the shamelessness of the BJP that they are trying to use it as a marketing gimmick, and also trying to connect it with this event in Howrah, which should have been avoided at all costs.
It should have been avoided, politicization, and the Chief Minister started out by paying condolences to the Prime Minister. There was no animosity there. There was no effort to try and score a point there. Let's listen into what the West Bengal Chief Minister said and then answer that. Shehzad Poonawala, listen in.
So I'm very happy that Bengal is getting this, and there are so many other 49 world-class stations. On behalf of West Bengal people, I thank you so much. You have taken trouble to come over here today. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thanks a lot. Please take some rest. And I do not know how to give my condolences message to your family members and the others. Because mother is no substitute to any other. Your mother means our mother also. I remember my mother also. Sir, may God give you the strength to continue your work with this. This is a very sad day for you, but you are coming virtually. It is your great honor, and you pay respect through your activities to your mother. Thank you so much.
This could have remained bipartisan and apolitical. The Chief Minister extended that hand. Why did the politicization happen? Shehzad Poonawala.
Padmaja, both the TMC spokesperson and its supporter has contradicted themselves on 3 occasions. Let me point out very quickly. Firstly, they said that the ministers on the dais were trying to tell the people not to chant this particular slogan. So clearly it was not BJP sponsored. Secondly, Mr. Anirban called it quote-unquote lumpenism. Last I know that they have not filed any FIR against this lumpenism, and God forbid that Jai Shri Ram, chanting Jai Shri Ram in a country like India where 100 crores are Hindus, is lumpenism. Then I don't know what will happen in this country. Every mandir there will be an FIR. And thirdly, if Mamata Banerjee truly felt for the Prime Minister and wanted to extend that message of solidarity, the best thing she could have done is, just like the Prime Minister, despite his personal tragedy, kept it aside and came to this program, she would have kept aside the fact that she hates Jai Shri Ram. She absolutely hates that slogan of the Hindus, and she would have gone on the dais when she was requested by the governor and by the union minister. But her problem was Suvendu Adhikari. Now Suvendu Adhikari defeats her in Nandigram. I understand it's painful, but at occasions you have to keep your ego aside. Perhaps she would have learned from the Prime Minister today that you can keep your pain aside and you can put a larger cause ahead.
So those words were insincere. Riju Datta.
I have two issues to address. First, I want to address the issue of Samajwadi fellow and the other people of other political parties, including some comrades and China lovers who are trying to abuse Pradhan Mantri Modi on this particular occasion. I just want to tell them, not today. Very cheap, not today. And the second thing I want to address is that not going on the dais. Now let me tell you, Shahzad, we proudly say Jai Siya Ram. We have nothing against the slogan. The only thing we take object to is the heckling of a woman chief minister. And why she did not go on dais is a completely separate issue. Because no normal person wants to sit next to a dustbin that emits foul smell. And the loser of the opposition, the dustbin of West Bengal, Shubhendu was there on stage. Yes, you hit the nail on the head. And
the governor is a dustbin.
She chose to sit with
the governor
BJP
is a dustbin.
State President, the BJP National Vice President downstairs. I am talking about Shubhendu Adhikari and I am making myself very clear. Okay. I am talking about Shubhendu Adhikari. Don't try to juggle.
You're calling the leader of the opposition a dustbin.
Okay, I think we should stick to the message that you yourself gave, Riju Datta, not today. Yes. Let's leave this for today. I want to give the final word to Uday Mahurkar. You've met Hiraben on various occasions. The one memory that sticks with you, Udayji. The one memory that defined her as a person. Something she said, something she did. Udayji.
I think this was about 17 years ago when I met her, and she spoke to me about certain chapters of Ramayana which were very inspiring, and they were to do with the sense of duty, again the same theme which we are talking today. So that is something which I still remember, and I think that is something which we should recall today, because today again the whole debate is about how she was a point of inspiration for the Prime Minister and his entire family, and which is now visible from their conduct in various ways. Padmaja.
Thank you very much. Uday Mahurkar, we are going to leave it at that. Again, on behalf of our entire team, our condolences, our thoughts and our prayers with the Prime Minister and his entire family. No loss is as bad as the loss of a parent. Thank you, gentlemen. At a time when the entire world is gearing up to celebrate the new year, to usher in the new year, precaution and caution is key. Again and again, experts have said that while India should be absolutely prepared for any onset of another wave of COVID, there is no need to panic. However, modeling techniques have shown that the next 40 days are going to be crucial. So what does the new year hold for India, and what are the precautions that India and Indians should be taking as they prepare to party and usher in the new year? Joining us now is former director of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Dr. Randeep Guleria. Thank you very much, sir, for speaking to us. India is stepping up its guard over COVID, particularly after what's been happening in China. Should we be worried though?
So I think it's always important to be extra cautious, and therefore it's good that we should step up our guard, because we should not be caught off guard. But at the same time, I think it's important for us to understand that there's no need for panic. India has done remarkably well over the last 2.5 to 3 years. Majority of our population has been well vaccinated, and also we have had natural immunity. So hybrid immunity is good. We are not seeing any increase in number of cases in our country, and we are not seeing any admissions. ICU admissions have not gone up. There are no patients on ventilators. So I think we should be vigilant. We should have good surveillance, but I don't think there's a need for panic. We are in a good situation.
Dr. Guleria, there was a recent statistic that placed the number of people who have not taken their second dose at approximately 70 million. Also, those who haven't taken their booster dose is almost 70% of the eligible population. Should that now be priority for us?
Yes, I think we should encourage a lot of people who have not taken their second dose or the booster dose to come forward and do that. Many of people who I meet, and especially patients, think that COVID is over and therefore they don't need to take the booster dose or they don't need to take vaccination anymore. I would just like to say that COVID is not over. We're still seeing a huge increase in cases across the world. And therefore, it's important that we stay protected, not only for ourselves, but for our family. And therefore, it's important that we take our vaccination on time. It will protect us from severe disease, ICU admissions and death. And therefore, it's important that those who have not taken the vaccine understand the importance of coming forward and taking the vaccine.
Sir, as far as the BF.7 variant is concerned, even though it has been prevalent in India since September, it's not really had an adverse impact just as yet. Are our vaccines an adequate safeguard against this variant?
So the BF7 variant is basically a sublineage of Omicron. And we have data which suggests that the vaccines are effective against Omicron and therefore should be effective against these sublineages also. But I think two important issues are there. One is, what do we mean by vaccines being effective? Vaccines are effective in terms of preventing severe disease, in terms of preventing ICU admissions and death. They are not that effective against preventing infection from happening. So we may see an increase in number of people who may have infection which may be mild, those who have been vaccinated. They may have flu-like syndromes, they may have fever, cough, body aches and sore throat. But they will be protected against getting severe infection. So therefore, vaccines are effective and are currently still working. We will need to see how things evolve over time with new variants coming and whether we need to then look at next generation vaccines in the future.
Now, it's also been reported, Dr. Guleria, that the next month is absolutely crucial. It had been said that there has been a pattern that the COVID wave has usually hit India 30 to 35 days after it's hit East Asia. What is your assessment? What is the next 1 month going to be like for us?
So there are two things to keep in mind. One is that if you look at the previous pattern, we tend to follow a little bit of what happens in the rest of the world. What happened initially in Italy and US, and then we started seeing an increase in number of cases. Secondly, we must also remember that this is the holiday season. People are traveling both nationally and internationally. And as people travel, they will also carry the virus with them. So people who have come or have been exposed to a COVID patients while traveling internationally may bring the infection to the country, and that may be a variant which may spread more, and therefore we need to be cautious. The other important thing to remember is that this is the time when viral infections tend to spread much more. The winter months are usually the time when we see a lot of viral infections because the virus survives for a longer time in the cold environment, and we tend to stay indoors more and stay close to each other, and that leads to the spread of infection inside a closed environment. So these factors will play a role, and therefore the next few weeks will be important in terms of close monitoring and surveillance. But I don't think there's a need to really get into a panic mode.
Now, sir, if there indeed is a wave, another wave in India, do you believe it has the potential to be lethal like what we saw in the second wave, or do we, like the Omicron wave, have to deal only with mild flu-like symptoms?
So our situation is very different from what it was at the beginning of 2021, when we were not fully vaccinated. There was not a good degree of immunity as compared to what we have right now. Therefore, I feel that currently, if we have a wave, we will see increase in mild cases, flu-like symptoms, fever, body aches, but we are not going to see a significant increase in hospital admissions, ICU care, or deaths. And that's why I feel that we should be vigilant, we should have good surveillance, because one unknown factor is how the virus behaves. Will the virus mutate and become more lethal? It hasn't done so over the last 1 year, so seems less likely that it will do so. But I think that is something that we need to be vigilant about.
And so also during the second wave, we saw a decentralized approach when it came to lockdowns or restrictions. Do you apprehend that we might reach a stage where restrictions on mobility might be introduced again, or is that not something that you see in the foreseeable future?
So I don't think we'll see a lockdown like we saw in the beginning, a large-scale lockdown. And I don't think that we will also see a major limitations to restriction. I would really think that we should upscale or start increasing our testing so that we are able to pick up any new variants early rather than late. We should have good aggressive surveillance. But having said that, if there is a cluster of cases or a huge increased number of cases in an area, then there can be some restrictions, but I don't see that happening in a big way.
Dr. Gulay, what does the Chinese experience tell us about the perils of going too far when it comes to imposing restrictions? Because there are many people who are saying that we should dial down our activities, we should impose restrictions on people who are dining, but China has been suffering the after effects of that. What do you think the learnings are from there?
So I think what the Chinese experience shows us is that you have to be able to change as the virus evolves. We have to evolve as the virus evolves and as things change over a period of time. So the zero COVID policy may have been good in the early stage of the pandemic, but as the virus evolved and there was good vaccination and they were having mild disease, to some extent lifting the lockdown then and accepting that now majority of people will have a mild disease may have been a better strategy to allow the disease to spread a little bit and allow some degree of natural immunity to happen, which is what happened in most parts of the world. But somehow China did not do that. They continue to have a zero COVID policy with strict lockdowns throughout, and therefore they have a population which is vulnerable, and also their vaccine program has not been that good as what we've seen in India.
Now, do you see a scenario, sir, where given the propensity of the virus to mutate, there might be a need for periodic boosters in addition to what we've already received to keep us safe?
So as we do for influenza, which is another viral infection and which has caused pandemics, the H1N1 pandemic and the Spanish flu pandemic, we give an annual flu shot or a vaccine based on the circulating influenza A and influenza B strains globally. Based in a similar manner, I think in the future, at least for some time, we will need to continue to have a vaccination to stay protected, because the virus will mutate and it will develop features of immune escape which can cause a higher chance of infection, and therefore especially among the elderly and the high risk group, it may be worthwhile to vaccinate them even in terms of future booster doses.
Now, sir, we are in the middle of winter in northern India. Is there a correlation between weather and our immunity to something like COVID?
So, the correlation is there for all respiratory viral infections. We see, and this is data even for influenza, that there is a surge in the viral infections during the winter months. Interestingly, this happens more in North India. In the southern part, because it's not that cold, this tends to happen more during the monsoon months or the rainy season, and it happens a lot in places like Srinagar. So India behaves differently in different parts because the temperature varies, and therefore in northern India this is the time that we will see increased number of respiratory infections, flu-like syndrome, and we will also see a seasonality as far as COVID is concerned in the future, with more cases happening during the winter months.
Now, sir, also there is the intranasal vaccine by Bharat Biotech that has been approved for administration. Do you believe that the administration directly into the nasal system has an added advantage?
Yes, the intranasal vaccine is a very good addition. It has two major advantages. One is the ease of administration. It's not an injection, it's just a few drops put in your nostril. So it's very easy to give to a large number of people. And for example, if you wanted to vaccinate a whole classroom, let's say a school, you could just go into the school and just put these drops in all the children and they would be vaccinated in a very short span of time. So the ease of vaccination is there. Secondly, since it starts working locally, it also stimulates the local immune system of the nasal mucosa, and it gives a good amount of what we call IgG immunity there. And therefore, local mucosal immunity is also acquired from this vaccination, which is an additional benefit over and above the systemic immunity that we get. Therefore, I think this vaccine has the advantage of ease of administration and better immunity both at a local level, which will decrease viral replication, and at a systemic level.
And finally, Dr. Guleria, has the breathing space we've had since the end of last year to now given us ample time to boost our medical infrastructure, including our oxygen plants, in the event that there is another wave?
Yes, I think the last 1 year after we had Omicron and there was this worry, there has been a lot of investment by the government in various sectors including improvement of infrastructure. So whether it be oxygen plants, the PSA plants, the oxygen storage plants, or a plan in place to how to upscale our facility in case there is a surge in the number of cases has been done in terms of ICU beds, in terms of ventilators, oxygen, and overall arrangement for as far as medication is concerned. So we are much better prepared for an outbreak now than ever before, and I think that is something that we've learned over the last 2.5 years and are now implementing that for the future.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Randeep Guleria. Always very reassuring to hear you. Your experience is extremely valuable, and we wish all of our viewers and you a very happy New Year.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
इन केस आप मिलेनियन वाली जनरेशन से हैं तो आपने शायद वो गाना सुना होगा, देखा जो तुझे यार दिल में बजी गिटार। सो कुछ ऐसे अगर आप मूड में हैं तो यहाँ पे ये गिटार की स्ट्रिंग्स टाइप दी गई हैं, एग्जैक्टली स्ट्रिंग्स नहीं है बट ऐसे कुछ मूड में है तो आप इनका इस्तेमाल उस समय जरूर कर सकते हैं। अब आप समझ गए होंगे कि गाड़ी कौन सी है, हाल ही में इसका लॉन्च हुआ था, ये है BYD की Atto 3।
Watching the News Hour at 10.
Prime Minister Modi flagged off Vande Bharat Express connecting Howrah to New Jalpaiguri in West Bengal via video conferencing. Cricketer Rishabh Pant's car met with a horrific accident earlier today after his car crashed into a divider. He is getting treated at Max Hospital in Dehradun. After 18 children died in Uzbekistan, all manufacturing activities of Marion Biotech in Noida have been stopped in view of reports of contamination in cough syrup. Congress takes a jibe at Yogi Sarkar. Day after road caved in Lucknow, Congress Karnataka chief mocks UP model on Twitter. National Commission for Women issued advisory to all states to direct coaching institutions to ensure strict implementation of Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
The smartphone category in India is anyway popular, right? उसमें भी जो 20 से 25 हजार वाले स्मार्टफोन्स हैं वो और भी ज्यादा पॉपुलर हैं। शायद इसीलिए Infinix ने आज अपना 020 स्मार्टफोन लॉन्च कर दिया है। I have the smartphone with me right here और इसको आज करेंगे अनबॉक्स। Hi, you're watching Gadget Time. This is me, Padmaja, and it's time for me to unbox this device और देखते हैं फोन में आपको।
You're watching the News Hour at 10.
Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar meets Dalai Lama. Chief Minister offers prayers at the Mahabodhi temple. After the Chinese woman was held under suspicion of threat towards Dalai Lama, her visa has been cancelled and she is being deported to Delhi. The number of cyber attacks targeting the government sector has increased by 95% in the second half of 2022 as compared to the same period in 2021. A massive